Well, AJ, we're at that time of the week when we have the before the show.
Yeah. It's been raining, Frank.
It has. It's been quite pleasantly raining, hasn't it?
My garden needed it. I'm sure yours did too.
The gardener walls was it like, but so it's not too bad.
Yeah. I got caught in it with my dog, Brody. So we got caught in the rain. I mean, I was fine with it. He was less so.
Why is that his first encounter with rain?
No, he's 2, of course, and he lives in Britain. Of course, I mean, he was born in Wales. He's experienced rain.
I didn't know whether he'd been kept in the house.
Oh, God, horrible thought that is.
Yeah,
my boy. Anyway, so my question, which I was sorry, the lights just come on. We've got the red light recording, to show that we are indeed recording.
So it's the dynamo, it's not off your bike.
Yeah,
the light's off your bike.
It is the light off my bike that I'm currently having to charge in the recording studio to make sure it's got enough juice for the way home. But anyway, as I was cycling through in the rain, I was just thinking, like, what is our best kind of pastime to do when it is raining?
What pastime do you do? What is it best doing in the rain?
What kind of pastime do you like to do?
Singing.
You like to sing in the rain?
Singing in the rain.
All right, Fred.
Well, I couldn't think of anything else, but what else do I like doing in the rain?
Tell the truth, man.
Dancing around the garden naked.
I feel like you're just being facetious now.
Well, I don't know, but it is something that quite appeals to me, actually, just going out. If it was close by to the house and I just wanted to let off steam and go out in the garden and just get completely soaking wet, then you may as well do it naked. Not that it'd be a very pretty sight, like, of course, but...
I mean, this was just a perfectly innocent, nice question, and all of a sudden it's just...
So go on then, what would you do in this weather?
Make endless brews and eat all the biscuits.
But you're
British.
So you're not taking advantage of the...
No. So, occasionally I have run out and danced in the rain in my garden. What I really like to do is like a geriatric widow. I sit at my window and watch the rain go down. So where my house is, obviously leads onto a main road and loads of fields, and it's a great view. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see all the rain kind of come flying down the little hill that I live on, like in a stream, and you see all the rain landing on all the fields and all the trees and stuff like that, and you can kind of see the greying mist in the distance, it really does look a bit like something out of a Tolkien film, until you look sideways and realise it's Almond Brook Road and it just looks shit. But otherwise, yeah, I kind of take in the view of it all from my window. It looks brilliant.
Therapy. You find it very therapeutic.
I would say therapeutic is probably the right word for it. Yes.
I always used to say when I had a caravan, I used to love listening to the rain patter on the roof of the caravan. And at the same time, I like to listen to the train going back.
That sounds great, actually. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it is very therapeutic.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
So I had my caravan was in...
Bentham?
No.
Little Bradford?
No, my dad's was. My dad was in Little Bradford. Mine was in... Presthaven Sands, which is just outside Prestatyn, just by the coast there. So yeah, listening to that rain and listening to the choo-choo going past. Oh, lovely. Yeah, there's nothing finer than that.
That's lovely. I can really appreciate that, actually.
I don't mind walking in rain as long as it's not persistent, absolutely heavy rain.
Really?
I quite like showery rain. I quite like showery rain in the sun, so when you get a sun shower.
Yes.
I love that.
I like that too. I mean, I don't even mind being absolutely throwing it down. Now, where were we last season? We were playing...
yes.
We were at the John Bosco, and it was absolutely throwing it down.
Was it there? I thought it was...
Yeah, it was. We won on penalties. And it was throwing it down.
Yeah.
But it was throwing it down constantly for about half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that.
And you enjoyed that?
I really enjoyed that, yeah.
I didn't think it was there. I thought that was the game we played against... Was it? No, was it? We played away. Well, I mean, St Bosco's is away, but where was it where we played? I was going to York. It was just before Christmas.
Nalgo.
No, it wasn't Nalgo.
It was either Nalgo or it was East Villa.
No, it rained at Nalgo.
Yes, it did rain at Nalgo.
It rained at Nalgo. But where was the other place that it rained?
And you were going to York?
In fact, I think it might have been the same ground that the secretaries' meeting was the other week.
Yeah. So that's the one where Nalgo play.
No, it wasn't.
Was it Sefton then?
No,
Sefton.
It wasn't MSP Wool. Name some of the other teams.
Waterloo Dock.
No.
MSB Walton Resies, which was Barlow's first game.
Yeah. Could have been there.
I think you're right. I've heard stories about that one being particularly awful. I was in Malta at the time, so
you were there at that one. I'm sure you were there.
I only saw MSB Walton when we played them at our place, and we won 7-3 just before Christmas. But he wasn't chucking it down.
We lost quite heavily on that particular day, and I think Kevin Ledbetter and Mikey Ledbetter were both in the same team that day.
Yeah, MSB Walton Resies, I'm sure.
Yeah, Kevin had to come off in the first half due to injury, and Fitzy.
Yeah,
I think Fitzy was playing. I don't know whether Fitzy had to switch roles or he ended up coming off the pitch as well. God. It was a bad day at the office.
Very bad day at the office.
Well, yeah, so that was the question about rain. So what else have you been doing other than looking at rain?
Well, Frank, I now have a clinical diagnosis of attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder.
ADHD?
I have ADHD.
So you've always got that moniker on social media.
I do, yeah, but that was from a psychological... what was it?
Self-assessment?
No, it wasn't. No, I had been assessed. I had been assessed already at this point, but it wasn't by a doctor. It was by a occupational health assessor. So apparently there's two different things.
So this latest diagnosis is of a what?
Doctor. A
doctor?
Yes.
A doctor that's obviously got experience in that field?
Yes, and can prescribe...
Not your GP?
No, it's an actual specialist. Just means I'm eligible for meds. That's the only difference between a clinical one and an occupational health one.
Why did you want to find out? What made you want an absolute diagnosis?
I have really bad mood swings.
Yeah.
Sort of from the highest highs to the lowest lows. I can't switch my brain off. I can't cope with a lot of sensory things coming in all at once. So the other day I was...
So you've got sensory sensitivity as well.
I have got a bit of sensory sensitivity.
It's difficult when you mix the two together.
Yeah, exactly. So I was at the petrol station the other day, filling up my petrol with car. I got filling up my car with petrol. I got fuel all over my hands. I couldn't find any rags. It really started to wind me up, and then a Harley Davidson went roaring past, and I was ready to kind of pull him off his bike and hit him. But that was the kind of the anger surge.
You know what? You don't need ADHD to
just
feel like that.
Irritated.
I feel like that almost every Saturday. I feel like.
Oh God, yeah.
I can't say it but I mean, I do feel like scrapping the terms.
Exactly, yeah. But I've kind of known that there was something a little bit different for a long time. But I actually it didn't occur to me that I might have ADHD until about 2 years ago, or something like that, when a work colleague who has her own diagnosis suggested it to me. So then I started kind of pursuing the avenues and realised that there are certain traits that are kind of clinically diagnosed as ADHD that I have, in quite a normal setting, such as taking on instructions and how I process things internally. There's a lot about it. So yeah, I've got the clinical diagnosis now. I am eligible for medication, so we'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks. So that'll be a little slice of heaven.
So you're hoping to go on to some form of medication that will help?
It'd be nice to kind of switch my brain off every once in a while and not be freaked out by a cushion.
Is there such a thing as a high-functioning ADHD?
I haven't got that. I ain't that clever.
No, in terms of... Well, no, you're quite a bright lad. There's no doubt about it. You're not on the same par as me, obviously.
This is correct.
But
there are a few who are.
No, seriously, you're an extremely intelligent guy. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And if you look at an autism diagnosis...
Yeah.
My youngest son has autism, and he's got a PDA profile. He's also extremely sensitive to sound, light, noise.
Just explain what a PDA profile is for those of us who aren't sure.
It's pathological demand avoidance. So it means that they found a way of getting themselves out of things.
I see.
That's the best way of explaining it.
Yeah, okay.
So they use diversionary tactics in order to do it because they can't cope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I was thinking in similar circumstances, ADHD and the sensory sensitivity that he's got in his diagnosis might sort of translate to ADHD as well.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah. It's quite rare that I find myself in a situation where I cannot cope to the point that I have to leave. Unless Skem are getting beaten 5-0 by a team we easily should be beating.
Well, but even I can feel like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's not ADHD. That's just pure irritants. But on a serious note, no, I'm quite fortunate that I can kind of withstand most kind of sensory environments without feeling the need to kind of leave. But there are other areas where actually it's really quite difficult to manage. You know, sometimes day to day, sometimes it can be sort of quite short periods, but I probably do need a little bit of a help to just kind of calm.
Yeah, there's no harm in that. Because we're talking, and this is a football show, we imagine that there must be a fair few autistic stroke ADHD players within the system.
I would think so. Yeah.
Do you think that makes it really, really difficult to deal with everything that's going on? If you were playing football, I know you played football, but if you were playing football now, how do you think it would affect you performance-wise and in terms of temperament?
Yeah, so because I don't have the kind of sensory stimulation effects that, you know, or sensory awareness that other people do, for me, actually entering like a football or a sporting arena is actually all right. Like I really don't mind noise in that kind of environment. You know, when I can expect it to happen.
But in terms of encouragement, it's great. But when you get in the negative side of it,
oh god,
that would be consuming. It would irritate you? I
would think so, yeah. It would irritate me. For me, it would something like that. If I had that kind of adverse reaction to the sensories of a football game, like it would probably make me really angry.
And I'm not making light of the situation here, and the reason I've asked this question is because obviously when Eric Cantona attacked that member of the crowd, something clearly irritated him. That makes you wonder, you know, everybody's got a switch.
If I remember rightly, though, the fan made a jibe about Cantona's mother or sister. I can't remember which one. And I think that.
But it's all about sensory, isn't it? You know, whether through sound you've heard something that irritates you, so you react to it.
I mean, yeah.
If you see something that you don't like, you react to it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you touch something that you don't like, or somebody touches you inappropriately, it affects you. Or unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So it would be a difficult one for a footballer to perform at his highest level without some form of medication, we would imagine.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know of anybody kind of past or present who's sort of been diagnosed with it and has openly talked about it like that.
Well, listen, if anybody's listening to this show and they'd like to come on and discuss it and tell us how you cope in a football environment with those issues.
We'd love to talk to you about that one.
AJ would, because it would help him enormously.
Yeah. We'd become best mates. We'd swan dive into the whole thing. But the good side of it is I can get completely immersed in a project that I really enjoy.
That's what I'm saying. That's the high functioning end of the issue that you've got, really, is because you can consume yourself. You can sort of take it all in and consume it rather than be in and out of it.
Basically. Probably this, probably the Northwest Counties and non-league.
Well, it becomes an addiction, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Are you a highly addictive person?
Not necessarily, no. I wouldn't say so. because I think there are kind of things that I can kind of take or leave. Like there'll be I think it's particular with television shows and books is that I'll get really into it for a week and then just completely abandon it. Same with certain sports as well. I'll sort of get really into it, completely commit my time to it, think about all the other things that's kind of centre on it, and then can bin it off. If I've achieved something.
My dad used to call me Gunner Hughes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he used to say, "You're going to do this, you're going to do that." You never do anything. But you know what? My dad was exactly the same person. He picked up hobbies and dropped them as quick as he'd picked them up.
There you go.
He studied electronics and he dropped that. He was like 3/4 of the way through building a oscillator.
Yes.
Something like that,
yeah.
And then equally he started a detective course. He dropped that as well pretty soon on.
There you go. Whereas I've done 3/4 of a journalism course, and I haven't dropped it, but I assumed that I'd just I could pick it back up again after I gained some good experience with SCEM, and then SCEM just ended up taking over, a massive portion of my life.
As it does.
Yeah, of course it does.
So what do you think it's going to turn you to now?
Well, we've already talked about the paramedic thing. So I've got an interview with St John's Ambulance next week to be an emergency responder on a volunteer basis.
Brilliant.
Yes, I get the uniform and all the training and stuff like that. So that's in Garstang. So I'm really looking forward to that.
You do realise that you can't drop that on a whim. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
You can't be resuscitating someone and then turn around and say, "I've had enough of this. I'm off."
I know. I'll commit to that one until they're alive, because I get to use sort of really cool medical jargon, like pulse and compressions.
Medical jargon.
Yeah.
I think you can use that kind of jargon with your medical.
But there's a good context for it this time, because I'm actually trying to help a dying person, so we all win.
Oh, well, listen, you're looking at one right now, so...
Oh, I can't fix you, Frank.
Yeah, listen, you might one day be called upon, which is handy, really, having a friend that's...
paramedic.
Going to be a paramedic, yeah.
Oh, mate, I haven't even started the course yet. I've not even had the interviews. I am so far away from being a paramedic.
Have you studied the ins and outs of being a paramedic, though? I mean...
To a degree.
The part of the problem with ADHD is that you don't look at the fors and againsts.
No.
You don't really, do you?
Well, not really, but I understand a little bit.
You look at all the positives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you look at the
and
driving.
The disadvantages start creeping in.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at being able to wear a nice green sort of boot and suit. You get to drive in a really fast ambulance. You get full-on days off in the middle of the week. You get sort of gym discounts and stuff like that.
I don't know whether you do. You get called upon for sickness and people that can't make it, so you end up working an awful lot of overtime.
Or big kind of disasters.
Imagine what it would have been like during the pandemic.
Oh, mate, I'm currently watching Ambulance on BBC iPlayer.
Listen, I didn't know that. When did you start that? It's not like you told anyone, is it? How far down are you in series 27? Or?
I think we're up to about series 8, but there's only 6 episodes in each one, so I've watched about 44 hours worth of Ambulance right now. So right now I am on the seasons that are in the middle of the pandemic. So they're there with the aprons and the masks and stuff like that. And bearing in mind as well that I did work in the care sector during the pandemic, so I do have a bit of an exposure of what it was like. And how frightened everybody was. They really were. It was a terrifying time to be any kind of, medically disadvantaged. It really was. So I've gained quite a lot of an insight. I've sort of gained the understanding to a degree of, people in distress and, comforting loved ones and things like that. The only thing that I haven't really exposed myself to is actual physical wounds and injuries and stuff like that. So I've seen a broken leg, not my own, I've seen one. But that's kind of been it, really. I've never seen anybody, bleed massively or have like a leg hanging off or, stuff like that. But honestly, like, I think I'd be all right with it. Like, just imagining it now, but I won't really know until I get exposed to it.
I was just still stunned by you haven't seen anybody with a leg hanging off. I don't think most people have, to be fair.
I don't know, there's some idiot
If that's
cyclists.
a yardstick to become a paramedic.
I get that. That's it. I'm setting the bar quite high, really, aren't I? Yeah. So yeah, it's been a bit of a busy week for me in that regard. Obviously, got quite a few bits and bobs done, sort of towards a bit of a career change. And I took great comfort in the fact that one of my friends is 38 and he's just joined the military after having worked in Tesco for 15 years.
38 years of age? You don't often hear of that, do you? Amazing.
No, exactly. So,
when you say, is he joined the, what are they called? Is he joined the full-on military or is he a reserve?
Good question. I didn't ask him. I just saw the pictures on Facebook, and he was there in his suit and his white gloves and all that carry on.
I always thought you'd make a good police officer. I know you.
Oh no, God! I can't deal with conflict that well. So I was talking to the handsome mountain, Mr. Ben Barnes himself, about the Southport riots because he was there.
Yeah, we talked about this the other week.
Exactly, he was doing his duty, and he said, "Yeah, you get trained in it and stuff like that. You get trained in conflict resolution and de-escalation tactics and things like that. But I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. I'm not great at kind of having somebody angry kind of shouting at me and stuff like that.
You'd start crying, would you?
I wouldn't start crying, but I'd probably just like go into a bit of a shell or something like that. To a point.
Or the alternative to that is
start punching them.
You'd smash them in the face, and then they would need a paramedic. So you could do the two roles, couldn't you? Really?
I wear many hats. So yeah, I did think about that once upon a time, but that was when I was like really young, when people wanted to
Fireman?
Tried out to be a fireman, but I haven't got like the mathematics and numerical logistics around that one to be able to be good at it, unfortunately. Right. Otherwise, yeah, I would do. I'd love to be a fireman, but being a paramedic, I mean, that's helping, and that's kind of my main. If I'm helping
I think
people,
you're a very caring kind of person, aren't you?
Of course I am.
You don't care much about me, but you care.
I gave you wine on your birthday last year.
What did he give me this year?
My present. I am the gift. I've got no money.
He turned up for the show. So listen, we recorded last week's show on my birthday.
We did.
And as you know, we've been talking about my issues with my car. I've still not resolved the insurance.
No.
They've made me an offer. I've gone back in and said, listen,
it's too low.
I'd like a little bit more. It doesn't look as though they're swaying, because I had another call from someone that said, listen, we've looked at 3 different alternatives ourselves, and the ones that you've looked at, they're half the mileage and they're totally different models. And I said, well, I thought you'd catch me on that one, but there's a reason behind that, because if I'm going to find like for like or similar to what I need, these are the only ones that are available to me right now. And he said, well, I've got 3 alternatives here, and one of them was in Enfield. I said, well, I'm not going to go all the way to Enfield to go and pick a car up.
Well, surely you won't have to.
No, but you'd have to if you're going to pay. If I was paid out and I had to go and purchase that, I'd have to go all the way down to Enfield to pick it up.
So, who was I talking to the other week? I was talking to somebody, and they were in the motor trade, and they will. It was my dad. So my dad bought a car from Kazoo, and what they will do is they will insure you for a month to see if you like the car, and if you don't, you can give it back.
So what's Kazoo like? Is it one of these big?
Yeah, it's a big kind of second-hand car, a bit like Arnold Clark or something along
Are
those
they
lines.
reputable, these?
Yes.
Are they? I don't know,
yeah.
you see, because when they offered me the other alternative, they mentioned the company. I said, I've never heard of them before. I'm not going to buy unless it's off a reputable dealer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to a backstreet garage. And they said, well, this has got a really good review on it. And I'm saying, well, yeah, they have until they don't have.
Yeah. So for me, Kazoo is obviously the one that my father went. I like Marshall. They're a really good second-hand dealership, the Marshall, and they've got branches all over the joint. I mean, I bought my old Seat from the Marshall branch in Northampton, but my dad bought the one before that, his, from Scunthorpe, so they've got branches dotted everywhere.
But I want to stick to what I've got. So
Toyotas.
And then when you're looking online at like for likes, there's not a great deal of them knocking about because, listen, people don't want to sell them. They're good. I didn't want to get rid of my car. It's been written off, for Christ's sake. And you know that bloke, by the way, that keeps phoning me up?
Yeah.
The last time he phoned up, I told him to keep away. I said, listen, piddle off. I'm trying to be careful here because he used a little bit of choice language. But he was on me back again. And I don't know whether I mentioned it in the last show. He turned around and said to me, he said, are you going to go for this or not? And I said, no. So it was all about 1,800 quid, which is the settlement for personal injury just below whiplash, a whiplash claim. So I said, well, listen, let me have a look at the details first and I'll read. And he said, you don't need to read it. I think I've mentioned that bit.
Yes, you did, yeah.
So we got to that point and I said, no, listen, I'm gonna have a good read of it and make me mind up. He did ring me back and I turned around and told him, listen, I'm not interested. I've decided to do a personal injury claim myself. And he said, all right, who's it with? And I said, mind your own business. And he said, well, I'm going to find out anyway. I said, well, listen, you're not going to find out from me, son, so piddle off. He phoned me up again today. I said, can you take me off your database, please? I said, you're getting really getting on my nerves. And I don't even know whether that bloke remembers. He's already called me twice before. But as soon as I mentioned that, he put the phone back down.
There it is.
So, yeah, waiting on that. And I'm still driving the big Merc.
It's a nice car. It's a nice car,
but it's not mine. So.
Well, I'll swap you then. I'll take the Mercedes.
I'd love to swap, but it's not mine. So it looks as though the way things are heading at the moment, I'm probably going to have to hire a car for it.
Well, how long's that insurance? How long do you get that for?
As soon as it's settled, I think they say it's either 7 days or 21, whichever comes earlier. So I've had the car now for 15 days, I think, 14, 15 days.
So you've only got another week?
I've only got another week.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm probably going to have to... Well, a week from the date that it's settled.
That is terrible.
Or is it? No, it's, up to the 21 days. So, it's probably 6 to 7 days left.
I think that probably depends on how close you're willing, on how much you're willing to just agree on a settlement figure.
That'll come in. I think they've already sent me an email. So normally they send you the text and say... So the bloke like I said, come back to me and said, we're not going to change, that's the offer. And I said, well, I still want to...
I want more.
I want to appeal. Yeah. So I've appealed, see what happens. I don't think I'll get any more. Because there are examples out there a lot cheaper, but probably double the mileage of my car.
Not great.
So I'm really cheesed off. Rowena's car's got problems with the starter motor, I should say. So she's had to forego a night at the bingo.
She's livid.
Yeah, she's doing the iron and she's really cheesed off. She is.
She's going to do a little mow on you, isn't she?
Oh, yes. That's right.
That is a really good soap niche reference, isn't it? But that storyline was iconic.
Yeah,
Do you remember that? Even now, whenever I go around to my family for Christmas dinner and they're giving out the condiments, my mother always says, do you like gravy more? I'm fucking hell, Mum. Jesus.
Well, the other one is, and it always gets on my nerves, is the Deliveroo. Deliveroo.
Domino.
Oh, Domino.
As in.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
As in pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. That flashing light's doing me head in.
It is, yeah.
I'm going to have an epileptic
Don't have an epileptic fit, because then I'll have to go into full paramedic mode, and I'm not qualified yet.
Yeah. So what were we talking about then before it sort of flashed on my face?
The soaps.
The soaps.
Yeah.
Well, the whatchamacallit, the one that I just mentioned before. What was it? What did I say?
EastEnders.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Domino.
No, so I'm talking about, oh, yes.
Churchill.
I couldn't think whether it was
With the
Admiral or Churchill.
So you got Domino, and you've got yes, which is Churchill, the Nodding Dog Car Insurance Company. Yeah.
And that Cinch one, that does me head in as well.
Okay.
That's a car one, isn't it, Cinch?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They do me head in, but they're really effective because nobody forgets them, do they?
Oh.
They're great on me.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know if it was Toyota. Toyota had an advert coming out with a tortoise going on roller skates, just scooting about underneath cars and stuff like that. And he's having a great time, and there's some sort of Bhangra music going on or something like that. Brilliant advert. Really enjoyed that. Was it Toyota? Or was it... Might have even been O2, actually. Or
What's your favourite all-time
advert? I mean, there's...
I like some of the Christmas ones, but they're annual ones, aren't they? One-offs.
So, I remember the Nike advert in about 2006 with the song Papa Loves Mambo going on it. And it's Portugal and Brazil lining up to play a friendly. And Luis Figo nicks the ball off the referee, nutmegs Ronaldo, and just goes in his ear, ole! And then it sets off a chain reaction of everyone battling for the ball. Yeah. There's absolute carnage going on. And then Pierluigi Collina comes in, clatters into Ronaldinho, tackles him off the ball. And then restores order. And then you see the players all lining up, while the national anthems are being playing, and like Ronaldo's got a bloody nose, Figo's hair's out of place, Roberto Carlos has got a black eye. It's a
I can't remember that one.
Can you not?
The one that stands out for me is the Peter Kay one. Have it!
Oh, yes.
But I can't remember what it's about.
John Smith's,
that's
it's
it.
beer.
Yeah, it's beer.
I remember the other one when he's eating in a restaurant and he's on the phone to his little daughter who's at home, and you can't hear her, but you're seeing it. Well, she's scared about the wardrobe monsters. There's no such thing as wardrobe monsters. It's the burglars breaking through the window. That's what you want to be worried about. Sweet dreams.
Yeah, I like that.
And then everyone's staring at him, and he goes, "What?"
I like the funny ones. The funny
That's
ones
a belter. So that's the kind of the adverts. But I mean, adverts back in the day, they were mental, weren't they? Like the Yorkie one when it's not for girls. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you can't get away with that now, can you?
Exactly. You can't get away with that one. The other one I remember is Carling, and it's this man who. He's sitting watching TV in a really untidy flat, and his missus comes in and berates him for it. And she spills the Carling on the table, and he goes and licks it off. So then she spreads Carling all around the house, and the house is just spotless by the end of it because he's cleaned it off. Anyway, she pours some on herself to try and start some, intimacy rumpy pumpy, but the can's empty, so nobody got anything. Rumpy pumpy in the evening.
I'm going to watch that one.
There you go.
But listen, one last one that stands out for me, and it's many years ago. It's a Coca-Cola advert, and it was Eddie Hines, who used to be the lead singer of Virgin Dance, who were from Skelmersdale. And I remember just watching the advert one day, and Eddie Hines turns up on this advert. You know the advert when I think Michael Jackson did it as well, didn't he? There's all kinds of big notable stars that did it, and he turned up on it. And I thought, I hadn't seen or heard of him from years. Back in the day, they used to have the Tube, didn't they? Virgin Dance were on there a few times. Yeah. But they were big in Scam. My sister used to go to school with him. Sadly, he passed away about a year ago, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, on a young, extremely handsome, well-chiseled guy. I think he spent most of his life, latter years, over in Italy. I think he returned to London in the end. I think he used to do a bit of sort of recording, working in recording studios, what have you. But I just remember that day seeing him on listen, if you ever get a picture of Eddie Hand, I'll show you and you'll see what I mean. Absolutely, perfect looks, hairdo, physique, the lot. It was like looking in the mirror. really was. But that stood out for me because it was a Skem lad.
Because he was a local lad, wasn't
done really well. There's another one, another advert with a Skem lad on, and I can't remember which one it is now, but I'll try and find that out for next week.
There you go.
So before we round up the beginning of the show, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Bearscough Football Club and Jay Hawks. So as a lot of people will know, there was a lot of green and white walking from Southport to the big community stadium.
I nearly called the police.
Yeah, well, I went to pick Brodie up.
Did you?
Yeah, from Southport, so I went to Central 12, and there they were. I literally didn't realise that they were walking from Southport Central. But yet they were all there in green and white, and the idea was to raise money for the youth teams. And showing everybody what Bearscough Football Club is all about now. Yeah. It's a fabulous cause. So in terms of raising money, so as we know, we were involved in the Festival of Football the other week. The
West Lancashire charity football tournament.
Yeah, which raised £2,367. And then without checking, I think it's probably over £5,000 in total, including the money that was made on Saturday.
Yeah, so some of that money went to the youth teams, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then some of it went to Darien House as well, a very important and wonderful local charity that looks after seriously unwell children within West Lancashire. So a wonderful, heartwarming cause, and quite symptomatic of the kind of work that Jay is putting into establishing Bearscough Football Club as a serious pillar of its community. Yeah. It's kind of causes and initiatives like this that is being so well received within West Lancashire, and it probably is a bit of a standout as to how they got the highest attendance that they've ever had in the counties. 396 turning out at the community ground for their season opener against Prestwich Hayes. What a magnificent day that will have been for all concerned with Bearscough.
It was really lovely to see, because like I said, I didn't realise, but when you seen that sort of, there was quite a lot of people there. I think they set out from the train station, but they were actually walking by Central 12 when I was parking.
Nice.
And just to see that green and white, the flags and everything, the kit, it was wonderful.
Brilliant.
And of course, he got involved himself as well. He did the walk himself. And
did a bit of cardio, was that, Jay?
He said he had a great day, but you can feel his legs, his back, and everything else have gone. I mean, as fit as he is, he's a man mountain of a muscle.
Oh, yes, he is.
Muscle guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But listen, it doesn't appear that walking is his back.
Endurance is not his strong suit.
Yeah, but listen, like I say, big shout out to Jay Hawks
and
Bearscough Football Club. Absolutely fabulous effort there for raising money and awareness towards charities, local charities, and towards the youth in the town. Spot on, Jay. Well done.
Well done, mate.
Listen, we'll get on with the proper show now then.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go now.
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Viget. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Season 3, Episode 6, and it's a normal intro. I know he doesn't like them much, but here he is, the man himself, my co-host, AJ for Jet. Slightly different.
That's a good little turn away from the norm, Frank. Much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome, lad.
Right, so we are in the third season. We're on the 6th episode, and all the football is starting to come back. So the North West Counties opened its account this weekend with a lot of results that we probably didn't see coming. So we'll go through all of those highs and lows for all of the teams and all of our good friends around the grounds. We'll look at the usual teams outside of the counties as well: Marine, Runcorn, Prescott, all of that tackle. We'll look at Controversial Corner and visiting Ashington AFC and how they're trying to save the club through the BBC. There's also been a few war of words between an outgoing manager from the Midland League as well. In the second part of the show, we will be speaking with David Platt, who is the manager of AFC Knowsley, not the former Arsenal footballer. And then in part 3 of the show, we will look at our scam game against Hesketh Casuals, and then also look towards our campaign when we play this weekend against Formby. And that's along with all our usual fixtures, predictions and analysis from this weekend's games of the counties. So, Frank, where are we starting first?
Well, North West Counties, Premier Division, Atherton LR 1, Nelson 2. So a 93rd minute winner by Jack Doherty gave Nelson a winning start to life in the North West Counties Premier League against Atherton LR. Davy Jones will desperately be disappointed with the start. LR looked to have sneaked a draw from the jaws of defeat when Jack Foster equalised in the 86th minute. But like I say, Jack Doherty sneaked a goal in injury time to steal all the points. Aaron Ripley was absolutely delighted with his team's performance. However, their game against Longridge midweek was postponed due to floodlight issues, a problem that hampered them last season. Well, listen, we'll talk about this just a little bit later, but LR managed to beat Earlham 3-1 on the road midweek to kickstart their season, so that's great.
Yes.
Aaron Ripley was absolutely delighted with his team's performance. However, their game against Longridge, I'm repeating myself again.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so...
You cheeky bastard! You were stopping recording, just see...
I'm not going to stop recording. No, listen, with faults and all this, but I've repeated myself. Yeah,
but what a start by Nelson.
The reason why I sort of stopped and started there was because we seen this as a little bit of a controversial issue, but rather than go into the controversial side of it, it's probably not as controversial as we think it is.
No,
it's
we're
just
probably
that
making
they've got problems with the floodlights,
mountains and molehills. Anyway, we're going to go on to Burscough. So Phil Stafford's Burscough started the season as we expected, with a convincing win over a team also expected to do quite well. They also did it without Caleb Jones, who has made more than just a name for himself within pre-season. He didn't get on the score sheet in their 4-1 victory over Prestwich Hayes, but Callum Laird did. So in the absence of Elliot Taylor, which we knew was coming after he signed for Chorley last week, Laird back in the starting lineup and back amongst the goals. So he scored one.
Elliot Taylor did manage to score in midweek, I think, didn't he?
Did he?
So they beat FC St Helens 5-2. So they were 2 down before the half-time break, and a 2-minute salvo, 2 goals, turned the game completely on its head on the hour mark before walking out 5-2 winners. Early days, but sorry, I bollocks that up again, haven't I?
I mean, it's fine. You can just interrupt my flow just to get in your message. It's not like we've been doing this for 2 years.
I know the thing is, you see, what we do is when we do the little bits of sort of summing up, we sum up the weekend's results and then all the midweek fixtures come in as well, so we have to add to it.
Yeah.
So what I'm mentioning is really that Burscough managed to get back into the game, and then they turned it on its head on the hour mark before the absolutely trounced FC St Helens 5-2.
Yeah. So Callum Laird got one against Prestwich Hayes, and then he got another one against Burscough. So 2 in 2 games for him. Decent start for Burscough as well. And I don't care if they sort of shout me down for this one or something like that. That is a statement win. That I know Prestwich Hayes have probably lost, 1 or 2 really good players to pastures new, but they still finished 7th in the league last season and could have probably made. They could have made the playoffs had their form held out at the beginning of 2026. Nonetheless, they are pretty heavyweight in this division, and Burscough beating them 4-1. And then following that up with a 5-2 win over FC St Helens, who, again, another top 10 team from last season.
Well, we imagined that, didn't we? But they've had a faulty start.
FC St Helens?
Yeah.
They have so far, but as for Burscough, that is a statement win. Those 2 wins are statements. Staffo will tell me I'm wrong. Jay Oaks will tell me to shut the hell up.
No, well, I mean, they pretty much agree with you. I mean, I haven't spoken to Jay today. He says exactly the same thing. Could have gone the other way round, but it was a fantastic victory. And I think he said, had Elliot Taylor still been with the football club, they would have probably gone into double figures. Yeah,
so they've scored 9 goals in their opening 2 games, conceding 3 against 2 teams within the top 10 from last season. What a start they've had.
Yeah. And like I say, FC St Helens conceded 7, scored only 2 goals. I know it's early doors, but are we likely to change our mind or our predictions on that one?
For what, Burscough?
No, for FC St Helens.
I mean, I didn't include them. I think you did, though.
Yeah, I think at the last minute I did,
yeah. So you might have some changing up to do, but it's not been the greatest start for FC St Helens. So they were beaten... as we said, by Burscough 5-2, but they were beaten on opening day by the FC Isle of Man. So they, FC St Helens, travelled over to that lovely little island, and they beat them by 2-0. However, and that was followed up for the FC Isle of Man, that is, by a very decent 0-0 draw against Glossop. However, 328 for their opening game.
I was thinking it was a misprint.
Yeah, that's about half of what I thought would normally come out there.
Do you think it's because of the holiday season?
Possibly because of the holiday season, yeah. They're visiting the mainland.
They normally have double that on the opening game, but I imagine they did.
Yeah.
Last season, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean...
With 500 supporters normally.
Yeah, exactly.
Average. And
you've got to bear in mind as well that includes some of the away fans as well, so it's even less turning out at the Bowl to watch that game.
It's a good start for them, though, isn't it?
It is a very positive start for FC Isle of Man, considering the difficulty that they had last season in the beginning of the season, which cost Paul Jones his job. And they've started off really, really well with a 4 points out of 6 and two clean sheets to go with that.
Do you think their biggest problem is always going to be when they're coming over to the mainland?
Yeah, I think
particularly midweek games.
I think it's the exact same kind of condition that we talk about when we talk about Hulk or Old Boys having to travel as far as they do for the midweek games as well. It's just arduous. Players can't make it. It takes a lot out of you, and it just leaves you on the back foot straight away, doesn't it?
It'd be interesting to know whether FC Isle of Man ever qualified for promotion. Would they take it?
Ooh.
Because
you've got to think
a hell of a lot more travelling involved then, wouldn't there?
Yeah, it would. Yeah. Difficult start for FC St Helens, to say the least. But you never know, there have been false starts for many a title winner, including Wythenshawe last season. So maybe this is just, a bit of a bumpy start before the smooth ride. You never know.
No.
No.
So, Division 1 North?
Yeah, so Division 1 North, obviously, one of the most amazing seasons in non-league football last season happened in Division 1 North. Obviously, we don't tend to read too much into the opening results, apart from me blurting out that it's a statement win for Burscough. But a decent start has been had by Daisy Hill, as they beat Steeton 5-0 at home on the Saturday in really good victory there at the Marley Stadium, and then nabbing a victory from the jaws of defeat to AFC Knowlesley. A tough start for Knowlesley, newly promoted to the division, but as I say, we'll be speaking to David Platt in the second part of the show. So no Liam Shepherd for Daisy Hill. Obviously he's gone on to pastures new, but they haven't really missed him, scoring 7 goals and just conceding the 1.
Moving on to Ashton Athletic.
Very good start.
A great start for them. Brilliant start. 2 wins and 2 clean sheets.
Excellent.
Now, you can arguably say the opposition hasn't been that great.
Oh, I don't know about that one. Let's just see. So,
well, what I'd say is they're probably the kind of games that they would have lost last season.
I would think you're probably right, yes.
But we're also in agreement that Ashton Athletic are a better team, better squad than last season as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they've made some really astute signings, but it's one of the old guard that secured them 3 points against AFC Blackpool. Josh Nicholson with 2 late goals to see them home against the Mechanics at Brocksteeds Park, and that was followed by another home game at Brocksteeds, this time the midweek fixture against newly promoted Uppermill, when they won by 3-0. 2 of those goals again coming in the later stages of the game, 80 minutes plus. So yeah, really good start for Ashton Athletic. 2 games, 5 goals scored, no goals conceded, and the attendance at Brocksteeds was 95 on the Saturday and 75 on the Tuesday, so not much the best.
No, they're not a very well supported team, are they? And then listen, another team that unless they get their act together, the crowds are going to sort of get scarcer and scarcer, aren't they? But Ashton Town beaten soundly at Baker Borough 3-0 at the weekend.
Yeah.
They got a tough game tonight against Walton.
Yes, they do.
But I do fear it's going to be a really long, hard season for them. My question to you, AJ, is it a case of them getting worse, or are other teams catching up with them?
Ashton Town?
Yeah.
So for me, Ashton Town, their attack is great. They've got Chris Lomax, they've got Connor Reddy, they've got Mikey Howard. In those 3 players alone, you are expecting a lot of goals. All right.
So why is it not happening?
It's not happening for them, and it's ironic because they didn't score in their game against Baker Borough, where I would have fully expected them to. I expect them to score in most, if not all, of their games.
What was the actual lineup, though? Was it? I mean,
well, they don't tell us, so you've got to go through the county's website in order to manage that. Now, I know that they've lost a few of their players from last season. There's 1 or 2 that have kind of gone out the door, and they've not really spoken much about having replaced them. They've not been that active on the old social media. So I'll just have a look and see what their lineup was for their last game. So they've only played the 1 against Baker Borough. So let's have a little mooch and see what we can find as apropos their starting lineup. Give us a minute.
Yeah, listen, you just take your time.
Right, so that was the Tuesday.
So they've had Chris Lomax, Connor Reddy, like you say, Mikey Howard, all in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Declan Hill, did he come from?
Declan Hill has been around quite a bit, but he was at Ashton Athletic, and then he was at Barnton for a bit. Where are we? There we go. Give us a minute.
No surprise there. Connor Reddy was deemed to be their
man of the match.
Player of the match.
Sam Twist, who's had decent times at Daisy Hill and Exton Villa as well, so he's quite well travelled. Connor Aiken, Dom Kane, Connor Brown, they are pretty consistent players. Dan Squires was there last season as well, so this is quite a consistent squad that they've got.
An established team, maybe a little bit aging.
I think maybe a little bit aging. Yeah, I mean, so we know that there are a few players in there that are kind of north of 30. But even so, I'd still be expecting them to do.
Well, for what it's worth, I believe that other teams are catching them up.
Do you reckon?
It happened with Skem years ago. And Tommy used to say that the problem is that teams start to catch up with you. They get more established and they end up catching up with you. And if you're in the same league all the time,
which
the consistency improves.
Yeah, and obviously Ashton they are in the Division 1 North. They have been for quite a few years now, haven't they? Yeah, exactly. And this lineup it's not evolving in a lot of the same ways that the other teams are. This is quite a settled squad. A lot of the players have been here for at least 2-3 years.
Needs a freshen up.
Possibly.
Sometimes you've got to at some stage. Tommy did about 3 or 4 rebuilds.
Did he?
You've got to rebuild your team, haven't you? You can't keep the same team.
No.
It gets a bit ring rusty.
Yeah, exactly. They get a bit stale.
Yeah, a bit stale. That's probably a better word for it.
There you go.
But listen, talking about Baker Borough, what do you think of them? So they not only beat Ashton Town, they also beat Main Road 3-2. 3-2 on Monday night. Concentration might be a little bit of a worry for them as they conceded late goals in that game. But overall, Baker Borough, we've never really considered them to be a possibility to challenge. But who's to say they can't? Ben Peters has a knack of getting the best out of it.
Yeah, he does.
All these teams.
I think he's got a little bit of work to do as Brent at Bacup. I think that's largely because it's a bit of an isolated town, which we talked about that before. Now, they brought in 1 or 2 decent players. So Jake Townsend and Josh Warren, they were both involved in that game. They came in from Steeton. All right, but they have lost... and Caden Barlow as well. Barlow's sort of been around the circuit quite a bit. I think he's played at Daisy Hill, amongst others. But losing Oliver Hodgson, who signed for Bury... that's going to be a good chunk of goals that they've got to cover for. And yes, they did win 3-0 against Ashton Town, and then they won 3-2 against Main Road. But is that sustainable? Can
6 goals in 2 games is a good average.
It is a good average, yeah.
Like I say, I'd be a little bit worried about conceding late goals. That means that the concentration levels are not the full 90 plus minutes, so they need to sort that one out. But apart from that, if they're going to be scoring goals, and against Ashton Town, Main Road, we know they struggled last season, didn't they? So
they inherently struggled. Yeah, it was a
reprieve for them, was it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, because of Pilks. So they've done pretty well.
You can't judge them on the Main Road victory, but you can certainly judge them a little bit better on the Ashton Town one. But listen, I'm sure when we get to that 4-week stage, so we're going to review it around about mid-September, aren't we, and decide on who we think are going to be the winners and losers. Moving on to Halewood Apollo, brilliant start for them. They beat Garstang 3-1 away, followed up with another 3-1 away win at Asheville. So Joseph Stocks, the manager, would be delighted with how things are shaping up.
Of course.
It's never easy finding your feet at the higher level, but they seem to have really acclimatised well.
I mean, it really helps to have Jesse Dowling in the team because the guy's scored 3 goals already.
Yeah. Great player.
Yeah, hell of a player. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not the only player in that team who can do some damage, and it does take 11 to make a team. But nonetheless, he's quite clearly like the focal point of that team, and I think they've made a very encouraging start there. 3-1 against Garstang, 3-1 against Asheville, both quite decent teams in their own right. Obviously, we've had discussions over Garstang before and their aptitude at this level, but Asheville, that was going to be a tough one regardless. So it's some good wins there from Halewood Apollo. It's a very encouraging start as to how they might manage in the counties.
Yeah, we're finding now is the teams that are getting promoted are doing reasonably well.
But the team that's getting reformed with a whole lot of money behind them, they've struggled. So Flixton drew 1-1 in their opening day game against Squiresgate. I think we probably underestimated Squiresgate a little bit.
There's no shame in that because they were challenging, weren't they?
They were in the playoffs. They made the playoffs last season. got some really good players about them. Right. But I think they'll be very disappointed in the 4-3 home defeat to Camel Laird on Tuesday night. 412 supporters turned out for that game, and it wasn't what they were hoping for. That's a brilliant win for Camel Laird, and one that they should really celebrate as a major point of encouragement in their new life in Division 1 North. That's a great win for them. It
it certainly encourages any team in and around there that were fearing that Flixton are going to... And listen, there's no doubt about it. At some stage, they're going to get their act together.
They're going to click. They are
take advantage of them now. 412 supporters. Decent for a Tuesday night.
That's a very decent one for a Tuesday night, although I have heard some less than savoury things being said about the cost of their programmes. 12 pages, £4.50.
For 12 pages?
Yeah.
So 12 pages is 6 pieces of A4 paper?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
£4.50. And obviously they're charging on the gate as well for certain supporters too.
Yeah.
Poor practice, Flixton. We are not about pricing supporters out of this thing. Not at this level. It's not cricket.
But listen, we've keep repeating it, but we've waxed lyrical about Flixton for weeks now, haven't we, since we knew they were coming into the league.
Yep.
It's not quite sort of shaped up for what they hope for right now.
Nope.
But you want to see success. You want to see you want to see them climb the ladder quickly. I do.
I want as many teams as possible to be challenging for all the places.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what was so good about last season. Was the fact that you couldn't really tell from week to week which team was going to be at the top and which teams were going to be in the playoffs. Obviously, like the last 5 or 6 games, it was going to be quite clear that Nelson were going to, they were going to take it. And then there was the question of the playoffs. Right until the last day, we weren't really sure who was going to make it in the playoffs. Obviously, we knew Droylsden after a while, and then McGull sort of followed suit, and MSB Walton obviously finished third. But you were never really sure about which team would finish. That was what was so fantastic about it. And so I would like to see. I would like to see Flixton win some games. I'd also like to see them lose some games, just so that it provides a really good level playing field across Division 1 North, akin to what we had last season. That would be great.
So we think they'll build a bit of momentum in the next few weeks and find the feet and start establishing themselves in that division.
Yeah.
And as we know, you could probably come close to losing 6 to 8 games and still win the league.
Yeah, you really could. Yeah.
And particularly now, because there's 22 teams in that division. It's going to be
it's absolutely crammed, isn't it? Going to be so much Division 1 North.
Well, I think when you look at 22 teams in the division, well, particularly 24 like we did in the Premier Division last year, you can afford to lose maybe half a dozen games, never mind, 10, 11 games, and still get into that top 5.
Of course you can.
So it's looking interesting. Listen, we haven't really mentioned much about McGull, but they've had a win and a defeat. But we're still expecting them to do fairly well, aren't we?
Of course we are. Yeah, we've talked about Joey's, Burnsy's boys, Burnsy's babies even, because they're just such a young team. Yeah. And then you've got Zach Riley, who's practically an octogenarian.
Older than the rest of them. Hope he's not listening.
Honestly, he's probably one of the very few central defenders who, if a nuclear warhead was dropped onto Britain, Zach Riley would head it away. He's just that good under the ball. He doesn't even have to jump. He just doesn't care. He just waits for the ball to land on his bonce and then nods it away. He'll do that with a nuclear warhead. So there you go. But one win, one defeat for McGull. So not exactly flying out of the traps, but they've certainly not fallen at the first hurdle either. Joey Burns has got this under control. No worries whatsoever. Yeah. Division 1 South. So we'll start off with Ecclesall. So Ecclesall, managed by a great friend of the podcast, Liam Kelly, who sent us a very nice message in the off-season. He's keeping himself busy with his family, with his business, with just watching football rather than actually being actively involved in it as a manager. So he's
the demon barber.
If you say so. I understand where that reference comes from. It comes from Sweeney Todd, which is a musical written by Stephen Sondheim, and also a movie with Johnny Depp. I don't think he kills people.
But he certainly kills his opposition because
he certainly did. Yeah.
So far, they've had 2 wins from their 2 opening games. First beating Widnes Town 3-1, and then against Allscott Heath.
Yes, they did. 7 goals scored, just the 1 conceded by Eccleshaw, picking up where they left off last season and starting the league with probably. They're trying to put a stamp on it, aren't they?
They're shaking off that playoff heartache.
Of course they are. It's what you'd expect Eccleshaw to do. But this time they're obviously under new management. Liam Kelly isn't there anymore. So it'll be... Yeah. Let's see how this goes. Could they go all the way this time? Yeah.
Brayton Social. So they've got off to a great start as newcomers with 2-0 wins over both Market Drayton and Alsager. Too early to judge, but both teams struggled last season.
Both teams did struggle last season. However, Market Drayton did make a big turnover of players and brought in a lot of new signings. They were my dark horses for the playoffs, but it's not looking that brilliant so far. So some great, a really encouraging start for Brayton Social as the new boys of the Division 1 South. So they'll be riding that kind of wave of euphoria right now. Really good opening couple of games for them. So maybe they'll do bits. Maybe they'll do some serious bits. You never know.
Widnes Town.
How do you solve a problem like Widnes, eh? So Widnes were another team that was regenerated from the ashes of the old Widnes FC.
Or, politically, it's got absolutely nothing to do with the old club. I think they've ruffled a few feathers, and I think the narrative surrounding them has become a little bit more harsh. I think the very fact that they got in off the back of...
the success of the old team.
Yeah, more or less. They've managed, and then moaned about not being, allocated to the North Division. Do you think that's upset a few people?
I think it absolutely has upset a few people. Yeah, I think it probably has put a few noses out of joint. We've obviously asked the long ongoing question about why we were relegated when we could have just folded, gone out of business and started up as a new team. And we would have had the kind of pathway into...
Glad you mentioned that.
I'm here for it, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some will see Widnes Town struggles as a bit of a shot of karma, if you like. Obviously, we talked last week about them having to advertise for members of the committee and chairman. Yeah, people who wanted to drive the club forward off the pitch. But then off the pitch, Paul McNally has not been without his struggles as well, as we say, losing 3-1 against Eccleshaw. They did come from 2-0 down to draw with Cheadle Heath Nomads in their midweek game. However, will that be the kind of the narrative that is set by Widnes Town? Will they continue to have these kind of struggles?
I think it's going to be an up and down season for them.
I think it really could.
I really like Paul McNally. He's been on the show. I like Graham Hastings as well.
Both of them Scots-Cam connections.
Yeah, so you want them. You really, really want them to do well. But I mean, listen, I might be wrong, but this is a Speaking Frankly football show.
We do speak
I just
frankly.
get the impression that Paul's a little bit not with it.
Wow.
It doesn't look as though he's enjoying it at the moment. But you know what? It would have been... we mentioned it time and time again. I mean, it's really pre-seasons are really difficult and harsh.
It's a brutal time, isn't it, to be a manager or a chairman? You just
need
so
more
stressed
people when you're building a club from scratch. So we can't expect miracles from them overnight. But like I said, the worry is that there seems to be a little bit of disorganisation.
Yes. I think that's probably the word. I think the other fatal mistake that they have made, or it could prove fatal, is going back to the DCBL stadium. It's obviously, we've talked time and time again about how ludicrous charges.
I don't know if they can afford it.
No, exactly. I don't.
It's not a sustainable business model, is it? Because it's not... Listen, the proof will be in the pudding when they're playing at home and how many supporters that they get there. But then you have to justify paying £2,000 a game.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 200, 300 supporters. That's not paying your way, is it?
No, it's
not even paying your wages.
No, so if you imagine...
Somebody's got a bankroll.
So that's 300 times by... What we're talking about 7? Something like that?
7, yeah.
Yeah, so 2,100. Yeah. That just about covers you. Your match day fees.
Well, you've got your referees charges,
and you've got your referees charges and
stewarding if you need it. I don't know whether they have stewards on there or is that inclusive the £2,000.
I don't know.
But that said, then you've got a budget on top of that. I mean, we're led to believe that there is a money man there.
Yeah, that's what we thought anyway. But if they're
what is it? Is it a quiet is it like a sleeping chairman there at the moment? What have they got?
Like a silent partner. I've no idea what they got. If they're asking for a chairman, where the hell
it's veiled in mystery.
It is.
Absolute
Widnes Town
mystery.
is just a very confusing entity at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think that's why it's getting receiving a little bit of criticism. We understand it's a fresh start and the difficulties that come with it.
Yeah.
But then when you've started up and then you're asking for key figures in a football club, it just sounds as though you've not prepared.
I know. And for all the fanfare that they made about coming back from the ashes of the fallen and trying to build some solid bridges within the town and things like that. It just hasn't transpired yet, has it?
I do like the social media interviews, though. I think they're doing well on that side of things.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a start, isn't it?
I suppose it is.
Yeah, let's just run through some late signings that we had before the season started. So Bearscough have now signed Harry Wright O'Connor, hard-working right back who combines solid defensive qualities with an attacking threat. Was he in the starting lineup on Saturday? I think he was.
Yes, he was. Yeah. It's the second season in a row that they've had a right back with double barreled name, and ironically enough, he was also called Harry as well, Harry Cannon Noren.
Where's he signed from, O'Connor?
I ain't got a clue.
Well, I'll let you have a look at that. So he's comfortable in one-on-one situations, quick across the ground, and always looking to get forward to support the attack.
Right.
He's reliable in possession, full of energy, and the type of player who gives everything for the badge.
Welcome to the limits.
That's a Bearscough player there.
Yeah, you've just taken that from the...
Yeah, of course. Well, you've got to, haven't you?
AFC Liverpool.
I've got a life to live as well, you know.
AFC Liverpool.
AFC Liverpool, that's Our listener was just saying, that was a joke, really. Where's he come from?
Also was at Fleetwood Town Academy as well.
Yeah, but I was joking when I asked where he's from.
Fine.
Because they've signed almost everyone, haven't they, from AFC Liverpool so far? But looking good anyway, listen. Glossop North End. The Hillmen have announced the signing of Caleb Parkinson. This player apparently needs very little introduction.
Who the hell is he?
This level, yes. At 22 years of age, he joins from Clitheroe after impressing West Disbury and Chorlton and Cheadle, and is well known, or a well-known name.
I was just fucking Googling him to exactly see where he was. But yeah.
Pace, quality and goals. That's what they're expecting from him. So McGull, they've signed Aidan Garrigan.
Cool.
Aidan is a young, energetic player with bags of ability who can play in several positions. Longridge Town. Ben Hoskin has joined Longridge Town, bringing with him over 250 appearances at this level. Ben's has a wealth of experience, leadership and physicality to the squad. Which leads us up to the Midland Premier Division, because I wanted to look at Runcorn Town. So they started off their season with a brilliant 4-2 win against Lye Town. Liam Page and Darren Moore got off to a dream start in the Midland Premier Division. They followed that up with a 7-0 victory over West Disbury and Chorlton, who appear to be struggling.
That's just silly behaviour, that is.
Yeah, they lost 1-0 away to Abbey Hulton at the weekend, but this latest setback will sting, particularly as it was played in front of a crowd of 607. But still a flying start for Runcorn Town.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. Look, that's a team that's settled. All right, I know that they've got one or two players that I think have left and gone on to pastures new, but the core of that team has been there for the last 2 seasons, and we saw what they, how much they dominated Division 1 South last season. It's not surprising that they've started well. I think it is surprising as to how well they've started. These are big results. Like even that 1-0 loss to Abbey Hulton, who we've talked about on the show before, and who it's been sort of quite well established that they could be a Step 4 team. I think they just missed out on the playoffs last season, but again, a hell of a team.
What's happened to West Didsbury?
So, West Didsbury is a bit of a tricky one. They 2 seasons ago they made the playoffs. Last season they finished 8th, but had a reasonable run in the Macron Cup.
We felt as though they were going to do fairly well, being laterally moved to the Midland
division.
But the Midland division's proven to be quite a difficult division.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Certainly for them.
It really is, yeah.
But listen, there's no embarrassment in being beaten by Abbey Hulton. Absolutely no doubt about that. But
no.
A 7-0 defeat.
That's embarrassing, that.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Really, I mean, to lose to Runcorn Town, no issues at all.
But if you're going to lose it, you tend to lose these games in midweek, and you wonder whether they've been struggling to get a team together for that game.
I wouldn't... Well, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think West Didsbury and Wythenshawe are going to have that problem, aren't they? Where they are, the catchment area for players, and then the demand to travel as far south as, Shrewsbury area? Shrewsbury and Shawbury, places like that.
Yeah.
It's daft to kind of expect that of them, and unfortunately they are bottom of the table because of it. Wythenshawe Town are 18th as well. This is a 20-team table, but up at the top are all county's old boys. So Runcorn Town, Stockport Georgians, Winsford United and Abbey Hulton United are currently occupying the top 4. Shout out to Cheadle Town as well, who are 12th after 1 win.
So they've certainly made that Midland Premier Division stronger, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Well, you're talking about Wythenshawe Town, so they lost at home to Utoxeter Town 2-0.
Yeah.
They're having a particularly good start to the season, and lost to Stockport Georgians 3-2, which is no embarrassment really, because Stockport Georgians, we believe, have got a few bob behind them as well.
Yes, they have. They were taken over. No, they weren't. Sorry, that was Cheadle. Stockport Georgians obviously went up through the playoffs last season, so they're going to have a bit of a strong squad. But they've made a really encouraging start to life in the Midland Premier division against. Wythenshawe, that's naturally a very challenging side to go to as well. A Wythenshawe side who've just come down from the Northern Premier as well. Really good start for the Georgians there.
Yeah, so listen, following on from that defeat, Steve Yarwood has left his role as joint men's first team manager. As I say, following that defeat at Runcorn Town. More on this in the controversial corner. You mentioned in the intro a little bit of a little bit of back and forth there on the keyboards. On the keyboard warriors.
So Lee Rick is going to take sole charge of the team going forward, and that begins with this Saturday's FA Cup tie at Garforth Town. Yeah.
Moving on to National League North and Step 4 and above. Marine defender Jack Doyle has departed Warrington Town to take up a contract offer at National League side Marine. Marine begin the season with a really tough home fixture against Macclesfield, and you'd expect Mac to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Indeed, they are 13-2 behind Morecambe and South Shields, who are 5-1 favourites to win the National League North. Meanwhile, Macclesfield have announced the signing of winger Vernon Parney.
Veron.
Yeah, Vernon. I always say Vernon.
Yes, you do.
That's me, I say. So Veron Parney, following a successful trial with the club. The jury's out on Verona's, to be perfectly honest, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah.
So the experts say, but listen, it could be the difference between them hitting the ground running and having a really good season. But
that depends on whether he wants to run.
Well, we spoke to a lot of people at Clitheroe, didn't we? They weren't particularly...
They say that he's really good when he wants to be.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those players who, you love him when he's working hard for the team or when he's on top form, but when he's not, then he's a waste of a shirt. He had a very brief spell at
I'll just say that's quite a delivery there.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
You'll see him.
You're speaking frankly.
I am speaking frankly. I'm also available for television hire or radio show. TalkSport, if you're hearing this, please get in touch.
Moving on to Southport. So, what would you consider their betting odds to be? Without looking at what I've put down.
For the playoffs or for promotion?
So for relegation.
Relegation?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, for promotion.
Gonna say.
Yeah.
So for promotion, I'd say Southport are outsiders, but maybe dark horse material with a chance. So I'll say about 10 to 1.
No, 33-1 for promotion.
Freaking hell. Wasn't expecting that. I think they're being done an injustice here.
Yeah, well, they travel to Hebburn Town, who are currently 50-1 to win the title. So they're the back of the betting odds in terms of they are relegation fodder according to the.
So Southport and Hebburn Town
bottom
are
four.
Relegation fodder.
Bottom 4
Silly behaviour.
relegation fodder. I don't think
Silly.
Southport are. I think Southport are going to do particularly well this season.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. You've seen what kind of team that Neil Dance was building last season and how well they finished.
Yeah.
I think this is the start of something.
Yeah,
And
you can never read anything into betting
well,
odds.
no, I suppose you can't. No, you don't really read into betting odds. That's why bloody Leicester were 5,000-1 10 years ago.
5,000-1, crikey.
10 years ago.
I know, just imagine having
Right.
100 quid on that. Do you mathematics? No, yeah,
Half a million.
Yeah. There you go. So Bury FC, their opening day fixture is against Redcar Athletic. That's a little bit of a hike for them. Both teams were promoted from their respective East and West divisions as champions last season. This will be an interesting game to see what the difference is between East and West.
Will be a bit of a battle there. I still think it's... I don't want to say that it's Bury's to lose, but are they going to set a bit of a threshold again this season?
Listen, we want to see them get off to a flying start. We love Bury.
We do. We do. We like Chris Watts. What a good guy.
Yeah. And we like Jono as well, don't we? He's really... He brings a lot of light and happiness to his interviews are marvellous.
I've listened to one or two. Yeah, he comes across as just this really likeable guy who's just buzzing to be in the dugout.
Just a proper football man. So best of luck to Bury on their opening day. Bootle FC, they don't start their season until Tuesday night because obviously they don't qualify for the extra preliminary round of the FA Cup, which is on Saturday. We'll talk about later on in the show.
Fine.
So their fixtures start, like I say, on Tuesday when they're away to Runcorn Linnets. So Lower Breck, they start their campaign with a fixture against Lichfield City. City were transferred over from the Midlands League during the allocation, so we don't know a great deal about them, but neither do Lower Breck, but we expect Lower Breck to do particularly well again this season, don't we?
Yeah, we do. They've made a few solid signings this season. They've sort of turned over a bit of the squad that was, so near but yet so far last season. I still don't think anybody expected them to make the playoffs last season, but I expect them to be there or thereabouts this time around. I expect them to win against Lichfield City as well. Bit of a mooch though, that is, Lichfield to Lower Breck.
Where is Lichfield?
It is
south of Nottingham.
Bit further south than Nottingham, reasonably speaking. Yeah. Anyway,
another manager that you want to do well, isn't it? Gary Moore, once again, fabulous guest on the show.
Yeah, we had him.
Another lovable football character.
Yeah, decent geezer.
Good luck, Gary.
All best. Prescott Cables. So they were relegated from Northern Premier last season, so they begin life in Northern Premier West with a fixture at home to Vauxhall Vauxhall, who finished 8th in the division last season. So that's going to be a really tough reopening for the Cables. Padiham, the Storks, the newcomers, they're going to face the Cables on Tuesday in their opening league fixture, but we'll be hoping for an FA Cup win away to Wythenshawe this Saturday. It's how they open their season. The Linnets, as we know, they are playing Bootle on Tuesday, but they open their account against Stalybridge Celtic on the Saturday, and we of course move over to Clitheroe. Clitheroe are in FA Cup action this weekend. They play AFC Liverpool first of all. Controversial corner.
Yes, so it's just something I picked up on. I've not seen it, and I wasn't aware it had already been released, but Ashington AFC,
cool.
Saving Our Club, has been released as part of BBC's Our Lives series, celebrating life in the UK and all of its diversity as seen through the eyes of a remarkable people doing extraordinary things.
Cool.
So the documentary was first broadcast last month on BBC One and is now available to watch on demand on BBC iPlayer.
Cool.
So Ashington AFC Saving Our Club is centred around a tight-knit group of volunteers fighting to keep the club alive. Does that remind you of anyone? Amidst the threat of relegation and looming financial pressures.
I mean, this just sounds like a bit of a docudrama on our life.
Yeah, it does. And I've been lucky enough to go up to Ashington and watch a game there on a midweek game, a night floodlit game. Yeah.
Was that when we were Northern Premier? Was that back in those
No,
days?
I just went up there with me old mate who's passed passed away.
You just fancied it, did
you? Yeah, we just used to go randomly up to clubs in the northeast, and that was one of them. Obviously, their history is really, really intertwined with the beautiful game, producing World Cup winning brothers Jack and Bobby Charlton, amongst several other famous players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, as people know, or if they don't know, it was founded in 1883, a place that became known as the largest coal mining village in the world.
God, it was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah. So relying solely on volunteers to keep operating, including those at the very top. The documentary takes a look behind the curtain of the footballing lives of the club's first female chair, Nicola Sanders Cooper, plus director Brian Shotton and board member Drew Tinsley. All three are united in their love of the town and their understanding of the vital role the football club plays in keeping Ashington's community spirit alive. And of course, when I went up there, I believe it's only a half an hour documentary, but
yeah.
I thought it might have been a series, but it looks as though it's only the one-off. Like I say, I've been up there before, and they always had, even though they weren't doing particularly well, they always had a good turnout of supporters.
Yeah.
It drew a lot of attention from local people, and I think when I was there was just short of 400 people then, and they weren't setting the world alight then.
Were they not?
No.
Damn.
But yeah, get watching that if you can. But like I said, it tells a story that's very close to our hearts, really, isn't it? People, when they turn around and say, "Listen, why don't you just give up and hand it over to Shirley FC?" Well, there's a reason why we all do things, and there's a reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's a love for the community. It's a love for the name and the badge and the honour of being a traditional club that is only a year younger than ourselves. 145 years of age. You have to protect the legacy of your football club somehow. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to watch that. Are you gonna give that a show?
Oh hell yeah, absolutely. That's an amazing little bit of behind the scenes look. Particularly the first female chair of the club. Now, female chairs are something that we rarely come across at non-league level. So actually, having her perspective there as a woman in the men's game,
you need her on the show.
I did ask the female chair of a football club in Sheffield, but she never got back to me. Well, at least she got back to me once and then never again. So.
Yeah, it's not like we don't want women on this show, because we most definitely do. But every time we approach them, we don't get much feedback, do we?
That's fine. Don't worry, we will do soon. Anyway,
so we're going to move back to Steve Yarwood.
So Steve Yarwood, as we talked about earlier on in the show, he was the joint manager of West Didsbury and Chorlton until he left in the midst of the 7-0 defeat by Runcorn Town at the start of this week. The departure has resulted in a war of words on social media between Yarwood and one of his former players.
Was it definitely one of his former players?
Yeah. He's.
I know there's greater context to this story than first met the eye.
Yeah, there is. And the exchange is still on Twitter now. It's really funny. But,
is it funny or unsavoury? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a bit daft, to be honest. Anyway, the instigator of this particular exchange of words is a player called Emmanuel Ujo Omarogbe, who plays for Didsbury. Droylsden, yes. And who may best be remembered for posting a photo of himself hunched over on the pitch, with a caption that read, "Apologies for our recent performances. The fans and the club deserve more than what we've given, and I am disappointed. We will get it right, I promise." When they lost 5-1 against
7-1.
7-0 against I can't remember who they lost to now. Yikes. But anyway,
Runcorn Town.
Was it Runcorn? No, I don't think so. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this has generated a bit of war of words that can't really be interpreted as either being light-hearted banter or passive-aggressive. I cannot really tell the difference. They're both heavy men keyboard warriors. They both love their social media, particularly Omarogbe, who sort of takes to Twitter quite a lot and has a decent following.
Has an opinion.
Mm-hmm. Has an opinion, has also a decent following for his part. But is it alright for managers to get pulled into this kind of war of words?
Well, he's no longer a manager now, is he?
Well, he's not.
He's left his role as joint manager, like you say, off the back of the 7-0 defeat against Runcorn Town the other night. It seems there's a little bit of anger, hostility between these player and former manager. And it's resulting in a sort of, I don't know, Emmanuel says he got promoted that same season, so your point is useless. Just like your coaching abilities, mate. You can laugh all you want. I had 9 million views on that tweet as well. Amazing, isn't it? And I still back my chat. It actually aged well. You should retire now. And then Stephen Yarwood replies, 9 million views. I could get me boots back on and absolutely skin you, mate. You crap. So crap, you and you. Oh, I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, I won't even repeat. That's not worth repeating, is it?
No.
But you had a couple of good games against us. Or you can...
or you can go off, really. But bloody hell, when you played for us, 2 left feet, can't head the ball, bad player. Happy you got promoted, though, and happy you got 9 million views on a tweet. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, but like you're saying, posing the question there, should he really be saying anything? Listen, do you get embroiled into these little spats and then you find it very, very difficult to get out of them? I'd like to think somebody might delete it. Whoever started the tweet in the first place gets rid of it, because it's just childish. He's doing himself no good. You wouldn't, as a chairman of a football club or a manager, you wouldn't be. He's high maintenance, this Emmanuel, isn't he?
Emmanuel Rugby, yeah. He likes his social media just a bit too much, apparently.
Yeah.
We
talked about him last season, and I can't remember what it was over, but he had a spat.
Probably because of that.
He had a spat then, didn't he? Anyway, listen, let's move on to Macclesfield Town. So with the consent of Robert Smethurst, Macclesfield can confirm that Rob has formally decided to resign as a director. We respect the fact that Rob has other personal interests away from the football club, and by accepting his resignation he is able to spend more time pursuing these. This administrative change has been processed and is now officially updated on the company's house register. The club wishes to clarify that while Rob steps down from his day-to-day governance on the board of directors, he will remain a shareholder. In this capacity, we look forward to Rob's continued backing as we get ready for an exciting new season ahead. So if you recall last season, Macclesfield suspended him following his arrest on suspicion of coercive control offence. He later resumed his position. We didn't hear a great deal about what the result of that was. Probably unfounded.
I think it was unfounded, or the allegations weren't pursued any further. So the police weren't involved in that claim for much longer, and he was allowed to come back as Macclesfield chair. I wonder whether it's just tainted his image a little bit, or whether he had... Because I feel like Macclesfield have so much more of a way to go, and I feel like Robbie's part of that. He's kind of symptomatic with that kind of rise that Macclesfield have had since they started back down at counties.
Well, he's had more comebacks than Sinatra, hasn't he? In the sense that he decided to come back to the football club and assume his role as chairman when they managed to beat Palace.
Yeah.
And then obviously he had to take a back seat, and he was back on board again, and he's decided to go. I think. Listen, it depends what he's got going on in his personal life.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it may very well be that there are personal things there that mean he needs to, keep his eye solely on his family. Or
somebody say he was pursuing a career in the media.
I have no idea.
No,
I've never seen him do a media thing at all. I mean, there will be some out there. I just, I think that he's not as quite a regular face on social media as somebody like Sean McConville, who is there constantly getting interviewed, and Brodie for his part, when he was at Glossop, there was interviews constantly. So
we felt as though Macclesfield had lost their sort of touch, their Midas touch, the magic when Robbie Savage left. But then, of course, they went on that brilliant FA Cup run and revived themselves. They've got John Rooney there, brother of Wayne, who's doing a fabulous job there.
Still is,
so they can revive themselves again. They can push on from this.
I think
it's not any great adversity.
No. I think that there's plenty more that Macclesfield can achieve. It was their first season in the National League North last season. I don't think anyone was expecting them to continue that transition so well that they get promoted from National League North to National League at the end of last season. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. That is like, back-to-back promotions, the high you go are so rare these days. I think actually they've made a really good kind of bedding point to start this season, and I expect them to be kind of up there or thereabouts.
Listen, I think we prattled on long enough in this section of the show, so we'll leave it here.
Get a brew.
In the second part of the show, we'll have that interview with David Platt, who's the AFC Knowsley manager.
And not the Arsenal player. Yeah, just for.
The former England.
The former England and Arsenal player. He isn't on the show, but the AFC Knowsley manager and former goalkeeper is.
And we're delighted.
Oh, we're buzzing with that. Yeah, we'd sooner have that one than this one.
Yeah, see you later.
See ya.
Hello and welcome to the second part of the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and a very, very warm welcome to David Platt, who's the manager of AFC Knowsley. A warm welcome to the show, David.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Listen, question that we often ask before we go straight into an interview is, football can be both a gift and a challenge. What has it given to you, David, and what has it taken away?
Oh, it's given loads. I think I've always played since I was a kid, and then I sort of had a couple of injuries and had to give up a bit early, so I got into the management, and it gives you loads of good laughs, loads of mates, loads of that sort of thing. Where you make mates for life, don't you? I think the thing it takes away is, I mean, you've only got to look at the sort of past 6 weeks. Really, is I've had almost no time at home with the family, and they've been really good about it. But obviously, I appreciate the strain I'm putting on them with me being missing so much. So yeah, there's pros and cons to it, but luckily I've got a lot of support at home, so yeah.
That's a good segue into the question that I was going to ask, and I didn't write down, to be honest with you. But in terms of pre-season, I've found pre-season extremely stressful, very, very demanding. You get to obviously you started your first game on Saturday, but how stressed out, how overworked do you feel during that pre-season?
I think this one in particular for us was pretty hard. Obviously with the promotion, we were having to try and sort of, see if we could improve the squad. We lost two of our best, if not our best players. Carl Pearce had decided that he's done the county circuit kind of thing, and he was looking just to stay at step 7. And Jama Mohammed went off to play for Jersey Bulls. He's been offered a job and stuff down there to go and do that. So it was kind of like, okay, can we replace them? Probably not directly, but can we do it in the round kind of thing? And then and obviously we were looking for a ton of different types of games that would give confidence, test systems, and then also test if we were up to the level. So it was really busy for us. And then in the background of that is obviously the whole ground development thing, which I've been heavily involved with the club. So a really tough pre-season for us. Way tougher than normal now. I don't know if that's across the board and everyone's finding that, but for us in particular, this one was a tricky one.
Yeah. Well, what stage is the ground development at the moment?
It's nearly there now. I don't know if you have more questions on this, or do you want me to give you the whole story or what?
Well, I was going to say to you, what did you have to get done in order to comply?
So there was, essentially it goes back to sort of March, and I don't know if you know, but the FA or the Premier League Stadium Fund have taken over the grading from the league, who used to do it, and they essentially have different views on how that was to be viewed. I think I don't think I know, because they told us quite clearly, but if it was down to the league, we hadn't met criteria. But essentially the Football Foundation gave us a checklist, and they said, you have to meet this by the end of March, and then this by the start of the season. And the end of March list was 2 sides hard standing, covered standing area for 50 people, a pay booth, and then there was just dugouts and some of the bits and bobs around, smaller items. And I think we'd almost given up on doing it because Helsby were flying away with the league, and we knew they had the 3G facility and stuff like that. And then we just had a conversation like a week and a half before the deadline, and we were told that Helsby hadn't progressed with their ground developments and there was some major obstacles for them. So we were kind of given a job last minute. Yeah. So I got the nod on. It was the Wednesday. The chairman gave me the nod because I was basically, as I say, I was previously self-employed and I was in construction. And with the timescales, he basically gave me the nod on the Wednesday to say, can you put this sort of 60 metres of hard standing in and get the shelter done? So I literally had that done. Yeah, I had that done by the Tuesday, so literally 6 days, and I had it done. So that was a bit of a frantic few days. But yeah, so we got that done, and the Football Foundation gave us a big tick. And then what we've had to do now in the meantime is, unfortunately, the sort of nature of our ground is we've got the path that runs along the side of the ground is a public right of way. So we could count it for the initial grading, which was essentially a step 7 grading, because we didn't have to be enclosed, but we can't count it for the step 6 grading. So we've had to put concrete in. Well, it had to be on one side of the ground, but we've done the 2 to sort of future-proof it. So we've got 3 sides now with hard standing. We've enclosed the whole thing in fencing, and we've put a new pay booth in to get access in, because the one that we used was sort of integral to the club area and wasn't accessible. And we've had to get the floodlights done before the end of September. Now at the moment foundations are in, wiring's in, and the company are telling us that the masts and the lights themselves will be in by the end of August. So we'll smash that. We'll be done well in time. Yeah.
In terms of stand, have you had to put a stand up?
So the stand doesn't have to be until the end of March. That's on order. It has been ordered. And we've, as part of our Pathworks, we've put in the foundation for it. So we're just waiting on that company to deliver that now. So that's all in hand and done. Yeah.
Because we were there the beginning of last season for a pre-season friendly. I think you tonked us on that occasion, so we could see that you were going to be a very progressive football team. It's a nice little ground, isn't it? And I've not been. I've gone past it several times since, but I've not seen the developments there. But it is a really nice area to be playing in.
Yeah, it's lovely, and obviously we've got the other pitches on the other side, and I think for me, I mean, I know I'm biased because I've kind of been involved in the work, but I think all the new fencing and the seated area and the hard standing, etc. I think it looks great.
Well, we will be going down there to inspect it.
Yeah. Speaking frankly, Football Show does stadium inspections. Absolutely.
Yeah, bring your laser measurer.
Yeah. David, from a perspective, obviously you are the gaffer, but how much more involvement in kind of off-field matters? How much of an involvement do you have in that? So obviously you've talked in great detail about the stadium development. Were you involved in that from kind of start through to now?
Yeah, so I think if you go back to sort of last November, now obviously I've been at a couple of clubs before and had varying levels of involvement, but I'm not on the committee or nothing at Knowsley. It's fine, they kind of keep the football and the managers of it separately, that's good. But sort of last November, when we're looking, I'm obviously pushing them to get it done and they want to get it done. And they're starting to get asked questions about planning and architects and all the rest of it. And I'm not saying they were struggling with it, but it was kind of they were like, oh, where do we even start? This isn't our bag, kind of thing. And obviously, own self-interest, but also wanting to see the club progress. I just put my hand up and said, look, I do this sort of thing. I've just done other projects through planning, and I obviously delivered. I've been in construction for 25 years now, so I said, do you want me to sort of take over this and get it sorted? And he said, yeah. And so I've took it from sort of conception with the architect. I've been at the meetings at the Football Foundation where we've got over the sort of issues around, footpath, where should stands be, all this sort of stuff. So I've kind of been very heavily involved in this one aspect. And then obviously coming up into the counties, I've got prior experience of that. So I've given them a lot of input on how we manage things like hospitality and flow of fans and things like that, and stewarding and all the rest of the stuff. So, and obviously the league help a lot with that. They have a lot of meetings for the secretaries. So I think hopefully we're well prepared, and this sort of month of away games that we've been given is it's given them an insight into how other clubs do it as well, which is always good.
Yeah, and transitioning from step 7 to step 6, if you've not done it before, very, very difficult for like you say, from a committee's perspective, who have very little experience of that. So they've really touched lucky having you as the manager.
Hopefully, I wouldn't say that myself, but if you're saying it, Frank, go on.
That's fair enough, yeah. Listen, before we go any further, because we touched on a little sort of few bits and bobs about your past experience and what have you. But tell us about your life growing up and how you ended up being involved in football in the first place.
Oh God, growing up, so I didn't really play a proper game of footy till I was sort of I think I was 12. My dad just come home and said, you're in goal for the boundary tomorrow, the keeper's injured, and they were under 15s, I think. So I was playing under 15s footy at 12, and then the next year their keeper had come back, so I was looking for a club, and I ended up at 13. I was playing open age for Zavs in goal. So I played footy from there, and then I think I was at Bootle under 18s, played FA Youth Cup, stuff like that, before I went off and I joined the Royal Marines at 18. So missed footy for a couple of years, and then when I come back, I mostly just played with my mates at Wavertree, like old boys stuff. I don't think the sort of network, like the Twitter and all that, wasn't there back in the day. For like nowadays, you put out on Twitter and 10 clubs contact you, don't they? But yeah, so yeah, I just spent most of my time playing footy with my mates, and then I was about 25, 26, and me back went. So I was out of that and ended up having surgery on that when I was about 30, which has meant I could play again later, but like it's all like old boys and vet stuff and that from there. But yeah, me missus bought me, which I'm sure she regrets now. It was my birthday one year. She bought me level 1 coaching course.
Nice.
It's a decision that she regrets for the rest of her life. But so I started at Lee Genesis. We were living up in Lee at the time because we were working in Manchester, and I just started coaching the kids there. And then when we moved to St Helens, I reached out. I'd seen an advert. I reached out to Jeff Voller, who was at St Helens Town, and I did the vets team there, which the league folded not long after them. So we morphed into a Sunday team. Did okay there. And then we got into, from there, ended up being the reserve manager on the Saturday. No great shakes. We come close to a promotion one year, but it essentially took a team that had got about 3 points the year before and made them competitive. And then when Lee Jenkinson left, he went off to Pilks from St Helens. I just basically inwardly applied for the first team role along with a couple of other people, and I got it. And that was, some great times there and some tough times. Obviously, St Helens were always operating on the edge of bankruptcy. There was never anything like a budget or anything like that. And then I think, obviously, it came to the point where St Helens, obviously they got relegated, but it was also at the same time as they got bought by someone else in a situation that wasn't to our liking, but it happened. And then, because I think at the time I'd had the commitment of, we were going to the Liverpool County Prem, but we pulled together a really good team at the time. It was just a bit too late in the season for the recovery, but we had the likes of Elliot Hughes, who's playing at Lower Breck, Ben Cartwright, Lewis, and some of other players, Jamie Appley, Neil Weaver. We had all these sorts of players, Khalifa Kamara, and we put together a good team. And we're starting, we beat Golker, who got promoted that year. We beat Pilks in the Cup. We took Skem when you were flying. I think it was around the time he's had that FA Cup run. And we went to Skem. We were 2-0 up in half an hour. But as happens when you play these higher teams, you burn out after about 60 minutes, don't you? And the quality takes over. But
what year was that?
The 21-22, I think. God, you're testing my memory now.
Yeah.
Skem were absolutely flying. The likes of Howard and who was the other kid on the wing?
Elliot Taylor.
Elliot Taylor, yeah. Those sorts of players, and we genuinely took it to you for like 50-60 minutes, and then, like I say, you could just see the lads die on the pitch, and obviously the quality takes over. So,
talking about that quality, then, because you've touched on it before, really finishing in 4th place and the shock of Helsby not being able to take up promotion themselves. There's been a huge gap between the champions and yourself, 14 points. Does that fill you with any sort of trepidation going into the counties?
Yeah, what we had was we had a little bit of a bad run around Christmas. I think Steve Brown, our skipper and our centre back, he'd picked up an injury and was out for a month or two, and a couple of other things. And I think we also last year we had a bit of a soft underbelly. So we come up against certain teams. Kirby were a very good team, but they're also very physical. And we'd fold a little bit under that sort of pressure. Now, we played Helsby twice. Then we drew 2-2 with them at their place, where they come back late to equalise. And we played them at our place, where, got to be honest, I don't know how we weren't 3-0 up in 20 minutes. And then the games, it was a good game, good competitive game. But we've had the better of it, I think. They might disagree, I'm sure, but we had the better of it. I've even looked back at it, and because I've signed the Helsby keeper now, and you watch it, he must have took about 30 goal kicks that game from the chances we had. And then
it's a smart
something
move.
like 105th minute or something like that, they just get a bit of a bounce that goes over the centre back's head, and Lee Turgington, who again is another one we've signed. He doesn't need more than one chance, and he just gets in and gets the goal in at the 110th to make it 1-0. So we get 1-on-1. I think we were as good as that team easily. Very competitive. I think what they had was they just had the sort of momentum and the ability to that consistency where we could have our slip-ups. So what we knew we had to do was address that. We had to sort of make ourselves more solid. We had to make ourselves a little bit more aggressive and be able to stand up to those sort of games and teams that you'll have. And I think hopefully we've done that. The players we've brought in have got a bit of steel to them, and so far we've shown up pretty well. And I know obviously the points aren't quite there, but we've been very competitive in those 2 games. So we just got to
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute. But it begs the question, really, is there a great deal of difference, do you think, having managed St Helens in the Northwest Counties? I know that was a while back now, but if you look at it in context now, is there a great deal of difference between the Northwest Counties and the Cheshire League? Because I know it's a very competitive league.
The West Cheshire wasn't it? There's definitely a difference. There's definitely a difference, but I think what you're looking at is, the top few teams in that league, Helsby, ourselves, Newton, maybe Chester Nomads, they could have played last year and been okay in the Northwest Counties. Not saying any of us have ripped up trees, but we'd have certainly been competitive. Once you drop off beyond those first sort of 4 teams, maybe 3 or 4 teams, there's definitely like a drop in quality. Teams that can do something on the day, but they're not going to be consistently challenging. You played them 10 times, you'd win 9 kind of thing. So there's that, and every team's got 1 or 2 players. I think you look at someone like Aintree Villa, they've got like Van Aston and people like that who could certainly could play counties, no problem at all. And every team's got 1 or 2.
We are taking note of all these players, by the way.
You
need a few.
Open the black book, but obviously the difference being you get into the counties and they've got 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. And you've got people who, in the West Cheshire, you've got people always drop down from the counties. In the counties, you've got always drop down from the Northern Prem or he's on loan from Rylands or Bury or someone. So there's, you get those sort of spikes of quality against an already higher base. So I think that's the difference. Was
dual registration a problem in the West Cheshire League?
Well, we're a team who took advantage of that. A lot of teams took advantage. We played Remy at the end of the season. They needed to win to stay up. We needed to win to keep our place in the top 5. And they had like Elliot Taylor playing and people like that. Who's obviously just gone to Chorley, hasn't he, from Burscough, AFC to Burscough to Chorley. So you'd have your own players and they'd have their players. Then we played Newton and they had Ryan Bagan from Bootle. And then they were moaning because we brought on our own player, but all in good fun. Obviously, a bit of laughing on the line, but so a lot of teams do it. I don't mind it. I think it lifts the quality, and it's good to see good players play football, isn't it? At the end of the day, so
yeah, I just found it very, very difficult to please players at step 7. So when you're chopping and changing, and you are sort of, like you said, taking advantage of dual registrations, it's letting players down that would be, regular turning up at training and what have you. Did you feel that was the case or not?
There's that element. I think we were in a situation where, because of various depletions, we weren't really leaving people out anyway. So it wasn't an issue for us so much. But I understand that point. And I think there's certainly elements to it. But what you've got to say is, obviously, we'd set up a very clear target to the lads at the start of the season where we wanted to be. And our place was on the line. We had to win our last sort of 2 or 3 games. And if you look at Remy's situation, they were facing relegation. So, and ultimately, as managers, we've got to pick teams that win footy matches. No one will come to you at the end of the season and say, "Oh, well done for being fair to the lads or giving that lad a game." They'll come and say, "Well done on promotion," or "You're sacked because you didn't get promotion." So, you've got to balance that. And I think luckily we didn't have that. We didn't have that element because of the way the squad was at the time and availability. But yeah, it's certainly. I think we'd probably have still made the same decision anyway. Yeah,
listen, we're feeling that now because we've got a player that's decided to bunk off just before the season starts. So I understand what you mean in terms of you've got to look after yourself, haven't you, as manager of the football club. The results are on you.
I think. It's a lesson I learned hard. I look back at my time at St Helens, and I kind of had a very holistic view of the club, and I was involved with looking after the reserves as well, the 21s, the 18s, and I had this sort of everyone talks about pathway and puts a hashtag pathway, but I was genuinely trying to set that up, and I was looking after lads. I was making sure there was game time across all the squads. I was chatting with the managers. There was lads who had issues at home. I was lending money out, things like that, and then 2 weeks later, the same lad might come to you and go, "Oh yeah, I'm going off to this club now," and you're like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? I was putting my heart and soul into it, and I was feeling sort of the emotional side of everyone's story, and I think I had to reflect on it and go afterwards, after it all gone, and I was like, sometimes you've just got to look after yourself and manage your team a little bit, and it, we're not pro clubs, we've not got the sort of control or obligation to every player and every player's life, and I'll still help where I can, but I've kind of learned that lesson that I was way too invested in it, and it took way too much of me, every sort of personal energy and life out in doing that sort of thing. So I think, like you say, Matt, we've got one job, and it's to make that football team successful, and we've got to do the best we can with that.
Yeah, and like you've sort of hinted towards there, having financial control is one thing, but if you haven't got that, they're off like two Bob Rockets, aren't they?
Oh God, yeah. Any chance they can.
Yeah. So listen, let's talk about the season. It started probably not the way you wished it to. Quite frustrating, but both sort of defeats have come in injury time, so it's not really. It doesn't give a sort of balanced view of things. How are you feeling after the first two opening games?
Oh, look, obviously in the moment they're kicking the guts, aren't they? Them two late goals. But overall, pretty proud of how we've played in both games. I think the first game we were, the lads are understandably a bit nervous, a bit wary, but we come out, they did what we asked them to. They were fast, they were pressing. We got that first goal, and then obviously the game's been back and forward, and we've come back a couple of times. I look at the last goal on there, and you look back on the VO, and you can see the keeper's getting fouled. But I mean, none of us picked that up in the moment and stuff. But it's lessons that they've got to learn, being a bit tougher. I think this new minute rule's a killer. With the injuries, we had a lad go down. He's genuinely hurt. He got a bit of treatment, and in that minute when he's off, you're playing with 10 men. They get the first corner, and then it was like the end of a sequence of sort of 3 corners where they score. I don't know. I don't know how that rule will play out over the season, but I don't really like it. But
I don't like any of the rules at the moment. They're awful.
Yeah, it doesn't. And all this counting and stuff. It's a bit of a. I understand why, and we've got to keep the game moving. But it's a bit of a pain. But
it's when they wait for 20 seconds before they start counting.
Well, they're so inconsistent with it. I had
makes sense.
One in pre-season who he counted every one of ours and none of the oppos, and I said to the line, what's going on here? Surely we both should be getting counted. What you hear now from the stands and from the terraces is now everybody starts counting themselves
at their own rate.
Oh God, joining in,
it's unbelievable.
But Holker Old Boys is a horrible place to go at the best of times, isn't it? We had that experience a couple of years ago, and we've said that Holker is a bit of a fortress by itself. But I mean, it was for a lot of your players, it was their it was a first venture as a team into counties football. I mean, what did they make of the occasion, kind of going up there, the stadium, the training, or all of the kind of events that surround a game of football at semi-pro level?
Yeah, I think that obviously they've all been buzzing for it. They've all, to be fair, they've really bought into the pre-season schedule, which has been full on. They've really bought into the sort of squad ethos, and the lads who weren't selected, really, really supportive. A couple of them even came down. One lad come down and did the warm up with us because we had a couple of knocks going into it. So he came just in case we had an injury in the warm up, which is really good of him. But I think they were really into it. They were really up for it. I did detect the first few minutes, a couple of them overplaying when they thought they might have more time, with the step up when they didn't, and a couple who were a bit nervous and were like, get rid of it. But they settled into it pretty well. I think after the first 15-20, they really did settle into it. And then they went to Daisy the night and put on a good show and stood up for themselves. So, they'll settle into that quick. There's some good characters in the dressing room, some strong lads. So, they're doing well, yeah.
Yeah, of course they are.
That was just going to say, you're scoring goals at least. You've managed to recruit Liam Sargent, as you said, and as a goalkeeper from Helsby, and Leek Turkington from Helsby as well, who obviously helped them to win the title. How do you manage to? How did you manage to get them to move across?
To be honest, really, I think they'd obviously Hellsby, the same as us. They'd been focused all season. They had their management telling them we're going for promotion. And then obviously the manager had left, hadn't he? Danny went off to 1874. He's gone to. So I had the contact. Liam used to play at Knowsley as a lad. So I had the contact details. Obviously, it's pre-season, so there's no sort of 7-day notice or anything involved. So just gave them a call, and to be honest, it wasn't like a big convincing. I just sort of told them, this is where we are. This is what we want to do. We played well last year. We want to add some goals, or obviously we'd lost our keeper, and we were looking for someone who was solid and dependable and a good keeper. And Liam had played against us twice, and he's just won the title, so we knew he fitted the bill for that. And obviously he has the connection to the club. So they didn't take much convincing at all, to be honest. Like a 2-minute conversation, and they were like, "Yeah, we're there."
Yeah. Listen, like I mentioned about the difficult start of the season, are you still working on recruitment, or is it all about fine-tuning right now?
It's a little bit of both. We're not like actively out there chasing down people now. So what you'll find is that people come to you and go, "Oh, have you seen such and such is available?" Or he might want a conversation, and you make a call on whether you follow up on that. Today we sort of reached out to one today actually, but he said, "Oh no, I've just agreed to be here and I'm going to stay here," which is fine. But mostly we're focusing on the lads we've got, gelling them into a better unit, because we have signed quite a few lads, and we need to make sure that they all work together. And we've had a few injuries, so we're using the squad. So yeah, we're mostly focused on that, but we know where we are. We've come up. We think we're going to be sort of mid table-ish, maybe mid to lower, but who knows? It'd be lovely to put a run together and prove ourselves wrong. But yeah, so if a quality player becomes available, of course you got to look at that and take that on, haven't you?
Yeah, of course you are.
We can't turn it down. So yeah.
No. So in that respect, then, how do you deal with things like budgets and sponsorship? Because you're quite well backed through Monterex, who are a major player in athleisure wear and sporting clothing. How big a part does money play in staying up as much as being ambitious?
Yeah, well, to us, there's not a lot of money there. So Monterex has given us we're in the second part of a 2-year sponsorship, although. A 2-year deal, but they've been previously sponsoring as well. That hopefully will come in soon. I don't think that's been paid. Yeah, but that's due to come in. What they have done for us, which is brilliant, is they gave us a big box full of new tracksuits the other day for our first game. So the lads are all there. We've got our Knowsley badged up Monterex tracksuits. So that's brilliant support from them. Yeah, and they give us some. The other year we got to the County Cup final the other year, and they gave us a load then as well. So you can't knock that out. And we know their gears. Obviously they're not paying retail price. We know their gear's not cheap, so they give us a good whack there with them tracksuits. That's brilliant. Big shout out to Monterex. So that's brilliant. And then in terms of the rest of it, I believe other clubs, like we've got a big youth section. I don't want to speak for other clubs. What I've been told is that some clubs, like the youth sections, there's a bit of a tariff on top that helps support the first team. We're not that at all. So we're like a community interest club. So nothing that the kids put in comes to us at all. So we have to do sponsorship and advertising and stuff. And then the other part of it is obviously a lot of these grants that we're doing at the moment to do the ground. So the floodlight grant. Floodlights are 50 odd, 60 grand. Actually it's 60 odd with the VAT on, isn't it? We get 70% of that off the floodlight stadia fund, and we've got to put the rest to it. So the club's in a good place, but obviously they're spending a lot of money out right now. So we're not saying we're not giving nothing, but we're certainly not one of the big spenders in that league right now. We're bare minimum, I'd say. So
well, talking about big hitters, let's talk about Flixton in the same division as you. Do you worry about the lack of parity in non-league football in terms of the financial stuff?
Look, it'll be what it'll be. I can only go on what I hear off them. I don't know anyone at Flixton. Are they owned by some American billionaire or something?
An American financier who apparently put £5 million in before he started. So it's a lot of
and I've heard the stories about what the strikers on and stuff like that. I don't know if any of it's true or a kernel of truth or it's all true. I don't know. But look, it's always the same. I mean, last time I was in the league with St Helens, we were playing better. You know what I mean? But with like 3,000-4,000 fans going most weeks and stuff like that. So there's always going to be someone. I think, but Camel Laird showed last night, didn't he? That you go there and you prepare well and you can do something.
So certainly did.
All we can do is back ourselves on the day and hope to cause an upset. I know. I think there's other teams in the league and. Ashington Town, I think, have had decent budgets. I might be right again. I don't want to put anyone else up if I'm wrong. And they've not quite made that leap yet. So money's not necessarily everything. I know they got the playoffs through the year, didn't they? And got beat by, was it South?
South
So money would be great. I'd love to have a bit more of it, but. A good group of lads is worth a lot as well, isn't it? So we'll go with that.
That's fair. I know you're in your very early days in the counties with Knowsley, but have you set out your kind of your aspirations and your targets for this season, or has Mark Gibbons, your chair, has he set any for you?
Mike.
Is it Mike? It's not Mark. Is it Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Gibbons. Yeah. He's not set anything. He asked me where we think we are, and obviously we've had chats. And as I said to you just before, I think I'm hoping we're somewhere mid-table and comfortable. I wouldn't like to be in a relegation fight, but I think momentum's huge in that league. I know you look at Walton last year. I don't think I'd be being rude if it, and I think they'd say the same. That they weren't like expecting to be up in the playoffs come the end of the season, but and they were lower part for most of it, and then just around Christmas onwards they hit a good run of form and momentum, and that sort of group spirit takes you a long way. Obviously they got some great players, is it Bentley and stuff like that, they got some cracking lads, but I don't think they expected that to happen. But once you hit that sort of vein of form and momentum, it can take you a long way. And conversely as well, a good team can hit a bad patch, lads get on each other's back, and losing becomes a habit, doesn't it? So I think we've got to try and take our chances to get a bit of momentum and get a bit of confidence into the lads. Try and be in a position where in games where it's going against you, they've got a bit of experience to draw on, and we can come back. So that Holker game, not great, but we've shown we can come back against teams repeatedly and stick in the game. That Hulk will be up there, I think, towards the end of the season. They've got to be looking at the playoffs, I think. Well, they 3 points off it last year, and looking at them, they're a big, strong team. They play good football. They weren't like long ball merchants or nothing.
And nobody wants to play them on a Saturday at their place. You just don't want to.
No. Well, I think whilst maybe not very first game, I didn't mind going in August on a sunny Saturday. Not at all. That's probably the best result.
Yeah, and it's a lovely ground to go to, isn't it? Lovely views around there.
Really nice, yeah, and the pictures in cracking nick as well, yeah.
Yeah, which is probably a big difference to when we were there. But listen, how do you deal with the pressure and the stress that goes with football management, and how do you relax away from it?
So I've had my moments where like you really do feel your weekend or your week's ruined, and I try not to get in that state too much. But football sometimes put you in that run of 4 or 5 games where it goes against you. But mostly I'm pretty level. Can get a bit emotional during games, but mostly pretty level. Take the wins and the losses. Away from football. I try and get a bit of cricket in the summer, although obviously the season sort of overlaps, so I only get a couple of games in these days. Obviously the family, got a young family there, so try and do things with them. I do the under 8 at Knowsley, and my little lad plays for them, so and we're rubbish, so that certainly brings the humility into the game. But yeah, I have to say to the parents, honestly, I can't manage. But we do that, and we go on lots of family walks and our little holidays and stuff. And I'm off to Glasgow in a couple of weeks with my daughter and a mate to take them to a concert they want to go to. So me and the missus are doing that. So yeah, when we got a decent social life with our friends. Just try and do that sort of thing. Yeah.
And Steeton on Saturday away.
Yeah, Steeton on Saturday. So good that it's on the weekend. I know that the cup with us not being in the VARs and that, I think so. We got this on the weekend instead of midweek.
It's a cup game, maybe chance to sort of put a few different players in.
You know what? If we'd have won the first two, maybe, but I think going and trying getting a result is the more important thing now. So we've obviously we've had to have a little think on that. But yeah, if we'd have been flying, maybe you can make a few changes. But I think we just got to go as strong as we think we can go. Try and get a result. Steeton will be a decent team. I know the results have gone against them, but they made a few signings, and I think they had a few missing. So we'll have to see how they line up. And it was Jose, is it, the manager? He's well experienced, so he's been through these situations before. He's been there donkey's years, hasn't he? So
20 odd years now.
Yeah, so he'll reflect on what's gone wrong in them first two games for them, and I'm sure he'll try and come up with something different. So let's see, it'll be a good test, good game. Yeah,
listen, thanks very much for coming on the show, David. All the best for the season.
Mm-hmm.
No worries, gents. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Take care, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to the third and final part of the Speaking Frankly football show. And a big thank you to David Platt for coming on the show.
Yeah, really glad that we were able to get him on. We've been wanting to have him come on the show for a fair few weeks now. He's in the middle of something that's really ambitious for AFC Knowsley, and they're all working extremely hard there, on the pitch and off the pitch, to make sure that Knowsley is as established as they can be in the semi-pro circuit. It's their first season, so there's going to be bumps in the road. Nothing's going to go smoothly. They've had a couple of difficult results as well, but I'm kind of the belief that they'll turn that around sooner rather than later. Got some good players in that team as well, so I'm sure we'll see them there or thereabouts. In a solid position, maybe not playoffs, but if they make kind of top half, that's a great result for them.
Yeah, and David forgot to mention in his interview there to thank his backroom staff, Mike, and his coaches, to thank them.
Have you just received a message?
Yeah, just received a message to say thank you. Thank you to Mike and all my coaches. I couldn't do it without.
Bless
them. Couldn't do it without them. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So where are we going to touch first? Are we going to go on? Listen. Should we talk about Scam? Because two things. One, the campaign starts off this weekend in the Liverpool Premier League. But we had our final two friendlies. We started off on a Saturday when we got beat by Granby Toxteth Athletic. That was a 4-2 defeat after being 2-1 up in the first half. A difficult one to stomach in many ways, because what I found was the management did a really, really good job of dishing out information during the first half, and everybody absorbed it.
Okay.
Now, when you switch sides, the players are on a different side, aren't they? So you've got to dish out the same kind of information to the other people then. I've just felt as though it became disjointed because we couldn't dish that information out to the people that we were corresponding to in the first half. So I think it became really, really difficult. But listen, Granby are always a difficult team.
Yeah, they are.
To play.
We played them twice last season, and it was tight. To say the least, wasn't it? It was a 3-2 win and then a 3-2 win for us, and then a 4-2 defeat for us when we played them last season. Lovely team though, full of really nice people, very committed volunteers, coaches, all of that stuff. So we're always sort of very. It's always nice to see them. Always good to see them, and they'll be a worthy opponent this season. One that we hope to to get one over on, when we do play them competitively.
Yeah, well, listen, Richard and Colin would have learnt a lot more in defeat than they do in victory sometimes. So our final pre-season game ended with a 5-1 win over Hesketh Casuals, with goals from Leighton Rimmer, Tom Broadfoot, Rhys Carrington, Leighton Baines and Sid Langford. I think they've got that in the right order.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it if they do.
So it rounded off a really great evening with great hospitality as well. Schem legend Alan Swift tossed the coin before the kick-off. Swifty played for both clubs during his career. It was great to see him looking so well following the stroke he'd had back in November. And we remember he was at the game at Marine then when he didn't look particularly well. It was really a sunny day, I think, but really extremely cold, and that cold got to him on the journey back home.
Yeah,
he had a stroke, but thankfully he's fighting fit. He's back driving again now, and he's looking well. And brilliant. I'd like to thank everybody at Hesketh Casuals, Mal for getting the game on, and all those that work behind the scenes there. Great club. Go past there on a regular basis. Didn't realise it was the home of Hesketh Casuals, but now that I do, what I've said to them is I think we need to do this on an annual basis now. I think we need to
the Swift Cup.
We need to get back there every year and have the same friendly, because it was lovely, and the little session in the clubhouse after the game as well it was an eye opener for me, because I didn't know it existed. You just imagine that a clubhouse is going to be right by the ground, but on this occasion it was in the middle of Southport.
That's bizarre.
Yeah,
but you pick up a clubhouse where you can pick one up, really, can't you? Yeah. Talking
about the victory, I think no disrespect to Hesketh, but the slightly different level. I think they'd appreciate that as well. So we can't really take too much into that, other than it's a victory, and it's what we know how to win a game.
It's a morale booster, I think.
Yeah, morale booster.
Yeah, I mean, Hesketh were always going to offer a challenge, weren't they? But I think the way in which we've won that, we've scored 5, we've just conceded the 1. I think the players and the management will be relatively happy with that one, just to see some goals flying in from all angles, more than anything else. It's good for particularly players like Leighton and Sid, who'll be expected to be in those positions, scoring the goals, in the actual season. Really good for them to get on the score sheet there. And it just gives us a little bit of a bounce, as well as like last minute flush through the legs, if you like. That's going to, then begin our season against Formby.
Well, it was only our second victory during the pre-season schedule, so it's been a difficult one. But
yes,
you know what? They're not meant to be easy, are they?
No, pre-season is never easy. Pre-season is a time when ideally you get challenges from teams above you. You don't really tend to play clubs at your own level. You tend to play ones that are a bit higher above or a bit below, just to kind of see where you stand, really, to kind of get some confidence, to get some hard graft in the players, and obviously to get match fit as well. Now, we've had a decent mixture of both. The results haven't always been on our side, but to beat Hesketh Casuals with a 5-1 win, probably, it probably just gives us more of a psychological bounce that we need.
So Brodie's had experience of defeat and victory since he's come back.
Yep.
So you'll learn an awful lot from both. You'll be able to balance that out a little bit. There was a couple of additions there. We had a new left back. We've had I think the second game we had the Mason Watson up front.
Okay.
A little pocket dynamo.
Good.
Decent player. Lennon Rimmer's the new left back.
Lennon Rimmer.
Yeah. So there's a couple of Rimmers in the team now.
So we've got Leighton and we've got Lennon.
I know, yeah.
Are they any relation?
No, I don't think so. Well, they didn't look as though they were.
All right.
No, they didn't let on if they were.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so it's nice for Brodie to get off to a winning start. What I do like about this management team is I like Colin Carruthers. I think what they do is they dish out information.
As you say, yeah.
They don't shout, they don't scream.
No, they don't.
The half-time team talks and the full team sort of, what would you call it? The post-match conversations.
The
debriefs are good. They're honest. They're clear. And I think there's a kind of clarity there that might have been a little bit missing, over the last sort of couple of years. Last year, I should say.
Okay.
So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, it is. It is always nice to see that. You can kind of get to understand how a manager works with his players, really. So the kind of stuff that we've seen from Colin and Brodie. Now, I've only seen them in one game, but the way that they handle themselves, with each other, as well as the players, it's vastly different to anything that I'd seen before through Tommy and through Andy. So
there's different ways of managing.
You just learn different.
We're not saying there's a good or a bad way.
No, there isn't.
What we're saying on this occasion is that
it's just another angle.
It looks great, though. It feels right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always going to feel right, until... whilst things are looking positive. Yeah, exactly. And the players certainly seem to feed off of it. I think one player who I certainly looked at as being one who constantly wants to get knowledge was Henno Singleton. Now, I don't want to say he was fortunate enough, but he just happened to be playing left back, and he was right. He was on Brodie's touchline, so he could take on the information constantly, and he was trying everything. Everything. It didn't always come off, but he was working with it.
Well, hopefully he'll be available. He's been on holiday, but hopefully he will be available for Saturday's match if he gets back on time.
Attaboy.
Thinking of... listen, it's beginning of a new campaign.
And so obviously optimism is always going to be a little bit higher as we begin a campaign, a new season, and we'll see how long it takes before we sort of come back here saying, well, fuck's sake.
Yeah,
somebody's always piddling on your chips.
Yeah, piddling on my chips.
There it is.
But listen, we're playing Formby, as you know.
We are.
So they gained promotion last season.
They did.
They'll be keen to stamp their authority on the league. As we know, Bobby Shirley always feels a tough, competitive side. So we'll have to be at our very best to compete against his team. I feel the key to this game will be winning the physical battle first and foremost. And if we put in a good shift, we can get off to a good start, but it won't be easy. Far from it.
No, of course it won't. And this is a settled side. This is a side that's not really rebuilt to the level that we've had to over the last couple of years. The players all sort of seem to know each other. Bobby Shirley's been there for a good number of years now, hasn't he?
Well, it seems like forever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's so involved within Formby Football Club. I think he takes on multiple roles, not just the role of manager.
It's another club like St Helens Town. We talk about this, don't we? But Formby, not playing in the hometown.
No, they're not. No, they'll be playing at Sefton, won't they? They'll be playing in Sefton.
Drummond Lane. In
Drummond Lane, and obviously they were at Skelmersdale for the last couple of seasons.
Price house. I think they were paying £250 and it was bumped up to £400. How disgusting is that?
It's just money for you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the revival of Formby, getting back up to that sort of level, step 7. Maybe knocking on the door for North West Counties if the current ground that they're in will be acceptable at that level. I don't know. But listen, the other difficulty is, and we need to mention it, is Rhys Carrington has decided to leave for pastures new. Why he's decided to do that last minute before, on the eve of a new season, I don't know. I know he wants to play at a higher level, but he could have warned us a little bit sooner. Cracking player. I'm sure he'll be an asset to anyone, but really cheesed off, if I'm honest, about the last minute decision to move on.
I mean, these kind of things they're never ones that you expect, really. So he's made his decision, we've made ours. So I think we're just going to have to. We've got to roll with it.
There's no loyalty in football, as we know. We spoke about that, in the interview with David Platt, but it goes both ways. I mean, if Reece wasn't cutting it for us, then the manager would be looking at replacements. It stings, it hurts, but he's a lovely lad. And we wish him all the best at his wherever he ends up. And he's hoping to play at North West Counties.
Yeah, of course he is.
I certainly think he's good enough.
Yeah, so do I. Same can be said for Luke Williams as well, who's also decided to leave us for pastures new. Again, not sure where he's gone, but he was given an offer by a counties team that are more local to him. He'd made quite a journey from Preston to get to us in sort of deep Liverpool areas. A really talented player. One of my favourite people that we've had at the club, really, and I hope it's not the last that we see of him, if nothing else.
Yeah, and it just makes life more difficult. We felt as though we had a more settled squad.
Yeah.
These two players leaving at such a late notice.
Yeah,
it stings.
It just made life really difficult for us. To a degree, yeah, but...
Well, best of luck to both of them.
Yeah, very best of luck to both of them.
And you're always welcome back. So listen, we come into our final part of the show, which is the fixtures and expert analysis. So let's run through this. We didn't do the midweek games last season because we just wanted to concentrate on the opening games, which we managed to do. But now we're looking at tonight's fixture as we record, which is Wednesday night this week. Litherland Remick are playing Charnock Richard in the Premier Division.
See how that game's going, huh?
Yeah, well, no, you can't look because you've got to make your prediction first.
Oh, right.
Don't be cheating.
All right.
Cheat. The first half will be over now.
What are you talking
close to over. Anyway, so go on. Remy or Charnock Richard? I'm going for the draw.
Yeah, so am I.
Good lad. So Thornton Cleveland's versus Garstangers also tonight.
Thornton Cleveland's?
Yeah, I think we'll go along with that. Woolton versus Ashton Town. I'm feeling Woolton on that one.
Yes, so draw, so am I.
Yep. Okay. So Division 1 South, Barnton versus Crewe. Crewe haven't got off to the greatest of starts, but neither are Barnton. But I'm going to think Barnton are going to edge that one.
We should emphasise that this is Crewe FC and not Crewe Alexandra, shouldn't we?
Yes, Crewe FC. Hence I said Crewe and not Crewe Alexandra. Anyway, Bilston Town versus... Oh, who are you going for? Barnton or Crewe? You going Barnton?
I'm going to go Barnton.
I think you will, yeah. Bilston Town versus AFC Bridgenorth.
AFC Bridgenorth.
I'm going for them as well. Wolverhampton Casuals versus Market Drayton. Could be a draw, that one, but... I'm
going to just blindly say loyalty and go Market Drayton Town.
And I'm going to go Wolverhampton Casuals and a draw. Town. So, yeah, I've gone right through, yeah. So I'm going for a draw.
I see.
Right, so Saturday, the 8th of August, is the start of the Emirates FA Cup Extra Preliminary Round, and we're not going to go through all the divisions here, we're just going to go through the teams that it affects in the North West Counties. So
relevant to
Abbey Hay, yes, relevant to us. Abbey Hay are at home to Ossett United. I'm feeling Ossett United.
I'm also going to say Ossett United.
Barnoldswick Town versus Atherton Collieries. Got to be Collies.
Burscough versus Droylsden.
Ooh.
I mean, Jay wants a cup.
Burscough.
Yeah, Burscough.
Yeah, Burscough, yeah. So, Chadderton versus Whitton Albion.
That'll be a great game, but Whitton Albion, I think.
I'm going to go for Chadderton. Ooh. Clitheroe versus AFC Liverpool. That's an easy one. Clitheroe. Exton Villa versus Atherton LR. I don't think this is going to be an easy game, but I'm going Atherton LR.
Yeah, alright then.
Yeah. Handsworth versus Prestwich Hayes. I'm going to go for Prestwich Hayes.
I'll go for Handsworth.
Okay.
Just to make it interesting.
Keighley Town versus Longridge Town.
Pronounced Keighley.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Why isn't it?
It isn't. It's called Keighley.
Don't you argue with Yorkshireman.
Keighley.
No, it's not.
It is Keighley.
It's Keighley.
Well, you Google it while I'm talking. Go on. Correct pronunciation for Keighley Town. I always used to say Keighley and everybody told me it's wrong, it's Keighley. And I've got family that live in Bradford. So unless they're telling me lies, son. Go on. Tell me I'm right. I'm right.
No, you're not.
I am right.
No.
No, I am.
People often mispronounce it as Keighley or Kaylee because of the spelling, but it's actually pronounced Keighley.
Well, I always used to pronounce it Keighley, and everybody used to tell me it was Keighley. But I'm going for Keighley Town anyway, for a win.
And I am going to go for Keighley Town for the win.
Right, Remy versus Charnock Richard. That's a repeat of tonight's game. Wow, that's a quick turnaround.
Bants, isn't it? I'm sick of the sight of
we
each
can't
other.
have a draw because it'll be played out to a victory. So I'm going to go for Charnock Richard.
Oh, for God's sake. These are the two teams that I just root for.
I know, it's hard, isn't it? When you've got...
Steve Scott or Ryan Donnellan, which side am I on right now? I'm going to go for Charnock Richard. Just their news in the cup is just a little bit better.
Right, Nelson versus Stockport Georgians.
Oh, the Admirals.
Yeah, we'll go for Nelson. North Ferriby versus FC St Helens. I'm going for North Ferriby.
I'm also going to go for North Ferriby.
Ramsbottom United versus South Liverpool.
Rammy.
I think it'll be a close one, but I'm going to go for Rammy. Tadcaster Albion versus Glossop.
It's Tadcaster.
Tadcaster Albion?
It's got to be Tadcaster.
Didn't they play in the Yorkshire Senior Final last season? And did... Check it. I'm sure Glossop came up on... Did they come top on that one? That'd be a good yardstick to see whether they did, yeah. So I think it was the Yorkshire Senior Cup Final or whatever they call it, whatever the equivalent is. I'm sure they played each other in the final at the end of the season.
Why would they be doing that? Glossop isn't in Yorkshire.
Oh, Derbyshire Cup.
Hmm.
Sorry, Derbyshire, yeah. Yorkshire, Derbyshire, isn't it? Derbyshire. Are you there?
Yeah, but Tadcaster's in Yorkshire.
Oh, I have the totally wrong team then. Anyway, listen, I'm going to go for Glossop North End anyway.
I'm going to go for Tadcaster.
So, the Edward Case Cup preliminary round, North Flixton versus Ashton Athletic. For Flixton. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ashton Athletic win that one.
Cats and pigeons, isn't it, really? I'm going to have to say Flixton, I think.
Right. Fulwood Amateurs versus Halewood Apollo. Interesting one.
It is an interesting one.
More settled team, Fulwood.
Yeah, they're a bit more settled, aren't they? They were a mid-tabler last season. Yeah,
I'm going for Halewood Apollo.
I'm going to go Fulwood Amateurs.
Garstang versus Cone. I'm going for Cone. Main Road AFC Blackpool. I'm going for Main Road. Steeton versus AFC Knowsley. I'm going for AFC Knowsley.
I'm going to go for Steeton.
Uppermill versus Daisy Hill. I'm going for Daisy Hill.
I'm going to go for Daisy Hill as well.
Good lad. So, the Edward Case Cup preliminary round South, AFC Bridgenorth versus Bilston Town. I'm going for AFC Bridgenorth.
They just played each other as well.
They're playing each other. Unless these are getting repeated.
No, they're not.
That's weird, though, isn't it?
This is dead ass what's happening.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going for AFC Bridgenorth then.
I'm going to join you with that AFC Bridgenorth as well.
Dorley Town versus Brereton Social.
Brereton Social.
You go to Brereton Social?
Yeah.
I'm going for Dorley Town. Market Drayton Town versus Crewe. Going for Market Drayton. Another repeat as well, is it?
No. Crewe played Barnton.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Right. Wensfield. Is it pronounced Wensfield Community?
Yeah.
Wensfield Community versus Widnes Town. I think Widnes might just get their first win.
Yeah, I'm going to say that too.
First Division North, Ashton Town versus Thornton Cleveleys. I'm going for Thornton Cleveleys.
I'm going to go for a draw there.
Yeah, don't blame me. Be a close one there. Baker Borough versus Ashfield. I'm
Baker Borough at the Brian Boys Westview Stadium.
Yeah, you always get tickled pink out of that one.
I don't know why. There's nothing funny about it. It's just a ridiculous stadium name. I've heard worse, but just where the hell did it come from?
Yeah, well, we need to find that out.
Yeah.
Do you research and find out that one?
I mean, why don't we just ask Brent Peters? I mean, he was probably there when the thing was built. Probably built it.
So, listen, Camelhead versus Squires Gate. Now, I would have said Squires Gate on this one, but given the fact that Camelhead managed to beat Flixton.
And Squires Gate drew. Technically, you'd think that Camelhead would probably win this, but
I love Squires Gate.
I am going to go for Squires Gate.
Right. Darwin versus Woolton. I'm going for Darwin.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if Woolton win that one. McGull versus Halker Old Boys. McGull. First Division South.
Joey's.
Yeah. Cheadle Heath Nomads versus Wolverhampton Casuals. I'm going for Cheadle Heath Nomads.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Eccleshall versus Barnton.
Eccleshall.
Foley-Mere versus Shawbury. I'm going for Shawbury.
Foley-Mere.
New Mills versus Allscott Heath. Going for New Mills, but a close game again.
Draw.
Sandbach United versus Stafford Town. Going for Stafford Town.
Stafford Town.
I actually think Stafford Town might win the league.
Steady.
Yeah. Telford Town versus Alsager. I'm going for a draw.
Yeah, so am I.
Right. So Sunday, there's more FA Cup games, and it's Wesborough Bridge Athletic versus Trafford. I'm going for Trafford. Hallam versus Earlham. I'm going for Earlham, but that'll be a difficult game for them.
Yeah, Hallam as well.
Tuesday, the 11th of August, First Division North, Ashton Town versus McGull. Going for McGull. This sounds like I've got it in for Ashton Town. I just think it's a tough opening few games for them, isn't it?
Yes.
Ashville versus Daisy Hill. We going for Daisy Hill?
Daisy Hill.
Cone versus Main Road. Cone. Flixton versus Halewood Apollo. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Scousers versus the Mancunians. Oh, you don't need any finer incentive than that, son.
Yeah. Flixton.
What's you thinking?
Flixton.
Ooh.
Just.
You reckon?
I just think Halewood, at the minute, they need to have much more of a capacity for strength than just Jesse Dowling.
Right.
At the minute, that's all I'm seeing. And I know that sounds shit because they've got more players, but for me, I just think Flixton will win this one.
I'll go for Flixton as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw or a win for Apollo. Fullwood Amateurs versus AFC Liverpool.
AFC Knowsley.
Keeps in it, yeah, there's that many AFCs. It's a difficult game, isn't it? But
Fullwood, for me.
Yeah.
I just think their experience will tell just a bit better than Knowsley's.
I'm going AFC Knowsley. Holker Old Boys versus Thornton Cleveley's. Draw.
Yeah, I'm going to say draw too.
Steeton versus Baker Borough. I'm going for Baker Borough.
Baker Borough.
Walton versus Ashton Athletic. I'm going for Walton.
Draw.
Yeah, First Division South. Allscott Heath versus Shawbury United. I'm going for Shawbury.
Allscott.
You're deliberately going opposite to me.
Yeah.
Alsager Town versus Stafford. I'm going for Stafford. Market Drayton Town versus Telford. I'm going for Market Drayton. Sandbach versus New Bills. I'm going for Sandbach. Wensfield Community versus AFC Bridge North. I'm going for a draw. Crew versus Foley-Mere. I'm going for Foley-Mere. And that concludes.
That does conclude them.
The fixtures and our expert analysis and predictions for the week ahead. So, what have you learned this week? Oh yeah, we've got to look at our predictions, haven't we?
From last week. Do you have yours?
Right. Yeah, I've got them here somewhere.
I didn't do brilliantly.
You didn't do really well. Well, I forgot to do them, so we're going to have to run through them.
What do you mean you forgot to do them?
I've been that busy. It's not easy.
Fine.
So, okay, you tell me which ones I've got right. You go through it. So, I went for Barnoldswick against Abbey Hay.
Bear with. So, well, who did you say?
Barnoldswick.
Yeah. No, that was a draw.
It was a draw, so I didn't get that. Atherton LR versus Nelson.
Nelson won.
Right, I got that one wrong. Bearscote, I got that correct.
Yes, we did.
Charnock Chadderton.
Was a draw.
So I got that one wrong. Droylsden, AFC Liverpool.
Home win.
Yeah, that wasn't the one that was cancelled, so that was home win. Yeah, got that right. FC Alaman versus FC St Helens.
Home win.
Home win, yeah, I didn't get that one. Glossop North Exton, draw.
Home win.
Was it a home win, was it?
Yeah, Glossop.
I didn't get that. Remy versus Ramsbottom.
Was a draw.
I didn't get that right. Whoa. South Liverpool Earlham.
Was a... Oh, hang on, sorry. I'm just going to need to go back and have a look at that one. Bear with. Sorry, lads.
I'm not doing so well here so far anyway. What do you got? 2 right?
I mean, I ain't doing much. Sorry, South Liverpool Earlham.
Yeah.
That was a draw.
Balls. Trafford Longridge.
Home win.
Yep. All right, okay. So moving on to Division 1 North. Ashton Athletic won.
Yes, they did.
Asheville won.
Not as far as I'm... Hang on.
The results are on the results page, you know.
I know, I'm on the results page now.
You know, on the page. The printed page.
Yeah. Shush. Asheville versus Upper Mill was a draw.
Oh, bollocks. Baker Borough versus Ashton Town. I got that wrong as well. Cone versus Walton.
Away win.
Yep. Daisy Hill versus Steeton. I got that wrong. Darwin versus McGull.
Was a home win.
Got that wrong. Halewood beat Garstang, did they?
Yes, they did.
Yep. Holker Old Boys against AFC Knowsley. Yeah, I got that
home win.
I had that down as a draw. Main Road versus Fullwood Amateurs.
Was a draw.
Bollocks. Squires Gate versus Flixton.
Was a draw.
Thornton Cleaveys.
They beat Camel Laird.
Good. Moving on to Division 1 South. AFC Bridgenorth versus Foley Mere.
That was a home win.
All Scots Heath versus Cheadle Heath.
Was a draw.
Alsager versus Dawley.
Was a draw.
Barnsley versus Stafford.
Away win.
Bilston versus Shawbury.
Home win.
Crewe versus Wolverhampton.
Away win.
Eccleshall.
Home win.
Market Drayton. Brayton.
Away win.
Yeah. New Mills Telford.
Home win.
Sandbach. Wensfield.
Home win.
Right, okay. So, how many did you get right? Go on, you counted them.
I got 14.
I got 18.
Really?
Wrong. I'll have to count again. I don't think I've got anywhere near you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you've won the opening.
It's business as usual. AJ starts with a win. He goes 1-0.
Alright, okay. What have you learned from last week?
What have I learned from last week? Well, I think I'd probably have to kind of be sort of quite personally reflective, really, considering kind of what's happened to me this week. Like, don't worry, I'm fine. But I think, if you haven't got a career set by the time you are my age, that's absolutely fine. There are people who change their careers constantly. It just means you haven't found it yet. Given what I've kind of been working with, it's, I haven't really been working that well with the system in a way that I sort of should have been doing, considering what's been going on in my head. And so if you're kind of feeling in a similar situation, it's not your fault. You probably just need a little bit more help and support. So don't ever feel like things are automatically your fault just because you have difficulty understanding, you're struggling to get to grips with it, you're a slow learner. All sorts of reasons why this could be going on, but don't put yourself down because of it and trash your own self-confidence, because there's more to it than that. Also, just swan dive into your joys and your hobbies and things like that, because they're the things that we find comfort in a life and a world that's putting more pressure on us to deliver professionally, but is taking away our ability to pay our bills and have financial freedom at the end of it. So whatever kind of out you have from that world, just swan dive into it.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, isn't it? And yeah, I think we sometimes feel as though it's a bind, the football, but it's also a release. We talk to a lot of managers that have decided to move on to pastures new or retire, resign. The minute they leave football, within a couple of weeks, they're chomping at the bit to get back. So sometimes when we feel as though it's probably the worst thing we could possibly do, be involved with a football club, if we walked away from it, it does fill an awful lot of voids for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a beautiful kind of relationship that we've got with non-league football, and just non-league football at the minute, because the way the professional game's going.
But even at our level, the noise, if you listen to the noise too long, it'll absolutely pierce through your eardrums. And I think that probably what I've learnt this week, what I've always known really, is that Skelmersdale United Football Club, it's 145 years old. It's the oldest club in West Lancashire. It's the most decorated club in West Lancashire. And that hasn't changed. I listen to the noise, I hear the people, I understand the people, understand those that say, pack it in and let Shirley FC take it over. But that's not the kind of people we are. We protect the legacy, we carry on doing that, and we keep on going. And you know, we have to find loyalty from all kinds of people in all kinds of directions. And what we do realise is that when one so-called supporter leaves, another one comes across. And I've noticed a lot of that. I've noticed people making up their own agenda, having their own narrative about Shirley FC. It doesn't bother me. You know, we're in a tunnel right now. We're on a trail. We're on a mission. Once we get out of that tunnel, we'll get everything collected together. And once we get out of that tunnel, we deliver. It's difficult to do it because we're not playing at home. But we're playing at Bearscough. It's only down the road. So get down to Liverpool if you can on Saturday and come and support Scam.
Yeah.
You know, it's the dawn of a new era. And I mean, listen, we mightn't get things right to start off with, but we've got a new manager in place. He's got bags of experience, and you know, we hope that he can bring back a little bit of glory to Scam. But it's going to be a long process before we do get back to Scam. But why the hell do people want us to give up? I certainly don't want to give up. I love the club.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well said.
And on that note, I'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ Vergette.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Amazon Music. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, including Facebook and X, under the term Speaking Frankly Football Show. So please give us a follow on there. And so from myself and Frank, thank you very much for tuning into this episode of the show, and we'll see you next week for more of the same. Until then, a very goodbye for now.